All right, welcome back to the Sort of Sports Podcast, episode 194. We are rapidly approaching episode 200, and full disclosure, I have nothing special planned. Just continuing to do what we're doing. So we got Late Night with Ryan later tonight at 11 p.m. live on YouTube. If you're listening to this, that has already happened. You can go back and watch it, the YouTube link if you want to see the full show. But I'll cut all the sports section and make that into the next episode of the podcast. That'll be episode 194. Austin's going to run me through a college basketball catch-up because really the only guys I'm keeping track of for college basketball right now is the NBA prospects. Obviously the big four being Darren Peterson, Caleb Wilson, who sadly just got injured. Hopefully he's going to be back for the tournament. Cameron Boozer, and then AJ DeBonsa. If you want to know my current ranking of the prospects, I think I have Boozer 1, Wilson 2, Darren Peterson 3, and DeBonsa 4. That might be reverse of a lot of people, but that's the way I see it. If Peterson wasn't doing this weird not playing thing, I think Peterson would be higher. But you can't ignore it. It's very odd. So that's what's up with that. All-Star Weekend just happens. This feels like a great time to come in and do my annual NBA checkup. So call me a doctor because I'm doing NBA checkups. We are back with NBA checkups. I have tier ranked every NBA team, and we're not just doing like A, B, C, D tiers. And no. We're doing my own tiers that I created for these teams and the things I think about them. And we're going to talk about every single NBA team, some more than others, obviously. Probably not spend too much time on the Kings. I'm sorry, Kings fans. I mean, the Kings are like the Browns of the NBA. Like, we all know where it's at. It would be really fun if the Kings were eventually good. I think they have like a really diehard fan base. I believe I've read that before. I mean, the only pro team in Sacramento out of the big four, I don't think they have a hockey team. I know they don't have baseball or football, so yeah, I think it is the only. Yeah, they don't have a hockey team. I'm thinking about it. I don't think they do. So, yeah, because they're San Jose, but I don't believe there's a hockey team there. So, what else do I have to address? Ryan rates water, still pumping those out, making other videos too. The water reviews have really gotten fun though. I've really been enjoying those. I just recorded the Evian one before this, so that was enjoyable. I made some content with Makeshift Hoops that should be coming out soon. Talked to them the other day. Them and Chase Coburn, if you know who that is. The kind of whiz kid. I call him like the young Sheldon of sports. So he was great. Shot some stuff with them a couple months back, and it looks like that's going to be releasing soon, so that's very exciting. So, I'm excited about all that. But just today we're going to talk about NBA. Got a little bit about books, TV, a little bit of video games. I don't talk about video games that much, but I'm going to address some video game stuff. So we'll do that. And trying to think, is that it? Yeah, let's get into it. So All-Star Weekend was this past weekend. And this is always the trajectory of every NBA season is the exact same. Here we go. Season starts out, no one's watching it because it's October and there's football. Christmas Day comes around. People used to kind of watch on Christmas Day. Now that's also kind of gone because the NFL is on Christmas. Nobody really pays attention except you're like true NBA fans. And the Super Bowl happens. Then next weekend, the general audience is like, here we go. Time to tune in. And what is there? The All-Star Weekend. And I think it's by design because the NBA is like, ooh, come catch up and watch all our stars. But inevitably, then people don't like All-Star Weekend and they complain about it. And then people are like, I don't like the NBA. And they stop watching. Then March Madness comes around. Everybody watches March Madness. March Madness ends and people go, oh, I like watching basketball. Let's continue. And they watch the NBA and the playoffs hit about a month later. And so realistically, the general audience watches the NBA for about 15 to 20 games of the regular season. Maybe less than that. It's absurd. So, I've said before, I will say it again, I believe the NBA could ditch the All-Star game and do the Cup then. I understand this new format people liked. It led to good games. And I really think the key to the All-Star Weekend, it's nobody likes to say it, but it is the truth. If the players don't give a shit, that's kind of that. If the players decide to care, then it's going to be good. So what you basically need is your future faces of the league, who right now, if we're being serious, it's Wemby, Cooper, Flag, Ant are your big three. You could argue it's just Wemby, Cooper, Flag, and everybody else. Your big international star, and then two big American stars. You look at those guys, and you're like, for the next 10 years, you are going to, like, by 2030, one of you is going to have a title. Maybe multiple. of you, or one of you has multiple titles, and you got, like, if you said by 2030 the best player in the league is Wemby and the second best is Cooper Flag, I'd believe you. And we're going to talk about Cooper Flag more as this show goes on because I got a lot to say about him. But I'm saying, if those guys really give a shit about the All-Star game, it's going to be good. And what I really like about Victor Wembanyama is that he has a psycho mentality. He really, really, really wants to be good. And he wants, not even good, he wants to be great. He wants to be best to ever do it. And I said that about Cooper Flag back when we were talking about being drafted, is that, he kind of reminded me, I'm getting ahead of myself, talking about Cooper Flag earlier than I wanted to, but he kind of reminded me of just like, I was like, okay, so this guy's Jason Tatum. Like, that's kind of what he was. And what I really liked about him, though, was that he really seemed to care about being great. He was giving the guys in the Olympic team the work as a 17-year-old. Like, this kid puts everything into basketball. And that was the biggest thing, Cooper Flag, for me. Is like, yes, he's Jason Tatum, but he seems to have a, like, the 2K badge, legendary work ethic. Like, that's what Cooper Flag has. So, to me, that's what really impressed me about him. And I have more Cooper Flag thoughts. We'll save those for later. But I'm saying the key to the All-Star game, for being honest, is just having the players care. You have to have those top-level guys really care. And I know people love LeBron, but LeBron hit a point where he did not care. And so once that happened, your top guy, who's like kind of the face of the league, doesn't care. The other guys don't care. So if Wemby and these newer guys like Cooper Flag really are going to care, great. Cade Cunningham, he's also up there. People love Cade. It's great. Got to buy myself a Cade jersey. One of my Pistons futures cashes. Boom. Cade jersey, bring it in. We're going to talk about the Pistons a lot. Come on. My team is the best team in the league. Okay, probably second or third, but still one of the best teams in the league. The best team in the East is the Detroit Pistons. I was telling people at the beginning of the year I had them in the finals. People said I was crazy. People said I was biased. Who's laughing now? Who's laughing now? They are the favorite to win the East. If Jason Tatum comes back, we're probably second. But this is incredible. It's actually weird for me to have a team that's good. Like, I've started watching a lot of Hornets games because it's fun to root for, like, a team that's not that good and, like, recognize their flaws and want things to get better, because I hate watching LaMelo Ball play basketball. But it's weird for me to have a team that's so good. I love it. I absolutely love it. And for everybody that doesn't like the Isaiah Stewart getting in fights and how rough this Pistons team is, that's the Detroit Pistons thing. Like, bad boy Pistons, and then the 2004 team later was obviously in Malice at the Palace. Like, it is a part of the Pistons culture of being, like, the rough team. And I love it. Like, it would feel weird if we were a 2015 Warriors-style team, which obviously is a winning team. They won, like, 67 games, I believe, in 2015. They obviously went 73-9 in 2016. Then after that, they had KD, and, obviously we're stupid good then. But I'm saying, if I'm comparing us like 2015 Warriors. 2015 Warriors, obviously what they did is very effective. We're probably not going to win 67 games. We can win 60, probably not 67. The thing is, though, I love the way Pistons play. And it's honestly a style I prefer. We don't shoot a shitload of threes. We still attack the hoop. We run what I call a solar system offense, where you got one guy that everybody's built around. Cade Cunningham is that guy. And J.B. Bickerstaff always wanted to run a solar system offense. He has that now. That's why it didn't really work for him in Cleveland. He wanted to run a solar system offense. Cleveland is built to be what I call Excel spreadsheet offense. Excel spreadsheet is where, everybody's effective and efficient at what they do. You really don't have a lot of forwards. If you do, they're 3-and-D guys. That's very much what the Celtics in 2024 ran. They've gotten better. They're less that way now. It was very, 2024, 2025. That's why teams are playing. Thunder get a little... Thunder kind of Excel spreadsheet. They can be solar system with Shea, but it can be Excel spreadsheet too. Sun and Moon offense is when you have two guys that are... It's like a duo offense. I would say the Nuggets can be that way, but Jamal Murray, I think... Well, he's good. Jokic is so damn good that they have their own offense I'll talk about here in a second. The Cavs just changed, though. They were an Excel spreadsheet offense, and now they're a Sun and Moon offense. And they've improved with being a Sun and Moon offense. Between having Harden there, Harden turned them into a Sun and Moon offense, him and Donovan Mitchell. Mobley's taking less of an offensive role, but it's working for them, and I'm really interested about what the Cavs are doing. Do I think the Cavs are going to win the finals? No. Are they, when we did this tier ranking, though, they're higher than they would have been 3 weeks ago. They're on a 5-game winning streak going on the All-Star break. This is the best I've seen the Cavs play this year. I'm impressed. The other offense is one that I think I've called it different things. Oh my gosh, what have I called it? I don't know, but it's basically, I would call it like the talent raiser, the guy who makes everybody better in the court. Just makes everyone better. Just a stat boost to everybody, +5 to everyone. There is one guy in the league who runs that, and it's Nikola Jokic. He's the only player that can do it. There is a second one, and his name's Tyrese Halliburton. And he wasn't there until last year's playoffs run. Those are the two guys in the league that you can put anybody on their team and that guy gets better. Pick the goofiest player you can think of with a weird play style. Kyle Kuzma, right? Put him with Jokic, you will see the best Kyle Kuzma season you've ever seen. He will make Kyle Kuzma better. Find out what are the things Kyle Kuzma could be good at. What are the things he's currently good at? What are the things he could be good at? Figure those out. I would say for me, he could probably catch and shoot, right? He could dive down when Jokic has the ball and attack the rim. Maybe he could do some mid-range jump shooting. That's what you do with Kyle Kuzma, right? You're not really relying on him a lot for defense. If he was with Jokic, it's all he'd be like a less aggressive, less rebounds version of Aaron Gordon almost. Like a mix between Aaron Gordon and I would say Christian Brown. That's kind of what I'd say. Is it Brown? I think it's Braun. I think it's Brown, but I always want to make it Braun because of the way it's spelled. I know it sounds bad. You're like, Ryan, you're talking about the Nuggets. You don't remember. It's because literally when I listen to their broadcasts, I think I've heard both. So I really never checked. I think it's Brown. But anyways, so that would be kind of my thought for that. But anyways, back to the All-Star weekend. People liked the format, though, so that's good. I'm glad that worked. The dunk contest was bad, and I'm not just saying that everybody always complains about the dunk contest, but it was poor. The biggest problem the NBA has is that the media coverage of it still isn't the best. I think people just naturally... It feels like the product is tailored towards middle schoolers. I think NBC is trying to fix that. I give them a lot of credit. I really wish NBC had the finals. I think they would do such a better job. They are literally doing the Sunday Night Basketball thing that I said they should do, and I'm willing to bet they didn't get the idea from the Sort of Sports podcast. If they did, I'd appreciate a check. But if they didn't, which I'm willing to bet they didn't, because it's not that hard of a concept to grasp. Hey, guys, we do Sunday Night Football. Why not, as soon as Sunday Night Football ends, bring in Sunday Night Basketball? Yeah, it made total sense. It wasn't like I was a genius for thinking of it. Maybe I was, but it's not like it was groundbreaking, right? So makes a ton of sense. I'm glad they're doing that. But if they had the finals, it would just make everything feel like a bigger deal. NBC is the best coverage of the Super Bowl. Like, they're my favorite to do the Super Bowl. Not because I think they have the best crew. I prefer CBS's commentary team, which Romo took a lot of flack over the playoffs. I still love him. But anyways... NBC makes everything feel like a big-ass deal. That's why they're perfect for the Olympics. They just have this, resonance, right? Ambiance, I think, just makes it feel important. It has like a gusto. CBS only really does that for the Masters. It's the only one they're really good at that for. A tradition unlike any other. But Fox doesn't really do that with anything, I think. The theme song's great on Fox, but Fox feels almost like pro wrestling television, where it's like big, bold, boom, kapow. It's like big action, right? It doesn't feel like prestigious. It just feels like big, right? Like, it feels like Vegas, where it's like it's exciting and big and powerful, but it's not prestigious. Prestigious is like Paris. It's like, ooh, Paris. I don't know. Does this make sense? ABC tries. ABC's like NBC without the sauce, I would say. Like, when they flash the like NBC intro and Round Ball Rock starts playing, you're like, ABC does not have that type of sauce. It just doesn't. It's truth of the matter. Doesn't. Prime does a good job. Prime does not try to be prestigious though. Prime is trying to do like slick, cool, modern, and you know what? It's working for them. I give them credit. They do a really good job with the NBA stuff. They're doing good work. It's ABC, ESPN. It's not that good. So. It's a shame. ESPN isn't good at making it feel bombastic and loud anymore, nor are they good at making something feel prestigious. It's a shame. Like, they are... People still think of ESPN when they think of sports. It's just the truth. Like, that is what people think of. And it's a shame that they are not living up to that in the way that they should. So, it's... Yeah. But anyways, there's been a lot of talk about tanking in the NBA and how we should eliminate it. And they seem to be soft launching this idea that the players could be free agents. And that is possibly the worst idea I've ever heard. It is a terrible idea. Absolutely terrible. I understand Adam Silver likes having the international audience. and there's no draft in pro soccer. I understand that. The NBA is not professional soccer. Just want in case you didn't know. And I'm saying the NBA at some point is not structured for that, because if they did that, the teams, first of all, that doesn't really make sense with a salary cap. Like I don't know how that would work realistically. I guess the thought would be like, oh, well, you have more money if you're a worse team, probably. But it's like that's not always true. It's odd, right? It wouldn't really make sense. Like if the Lakers got Cooper Flag just because he felt like signing there, or the Celtics, that's not fun. And at some point, a team like the Detroit Pistons would probably never have anybody that good. Like Cade Cunningham would not have signed the Detroit Pistons. And it's fun that he's there. I love having like a star player. It's so much fun having a star player again. Because you guys know I used to be a Cavs fan when I was younger, and then when the Cavs sucked and the Pistons sucked, I developed a soft spot for the Pistons, made the jump to the Pistons. Also, my boy Sadiq Bey is doing well, for what it's worth. I love you, Sadiq Bey. I wish you were still in Detroit. You're my guy. I have a Sadiq Bey jersey, one of my favorites. Probably ever my favorite players of all time. Love Sadiq Bey. But anywho, yeah, it's such a terrible idea. And in my book, I made a video about it the other day. If you didn't see it, it was on my TikTok and my Instagram. It's on YouTube Shorts too. I don't know why I said those two. But anyways, basically what I was saying is, if you want to eliminate the tanking, maybe you shouldn't have messed with the draft odds so much. Because the problem the NBA has right now is because they screwed with the draft odds so much because Adam Silver hated the Trust the Process Sixers, now it's like if you're a bottom 6 to 8 team, you still got a chance to get the number 1 pick. So it's like, hell, we might as well be bad. There's no point in being 11th. Right? Like, let's just take the chance we can get a better odds for a pick. So they're just bad, right? Whereas if you didn't do a draft lottery, or you just did the number 1 pick as a draft lottery, as it was originally intended, right? Everything else is just chalk. Right now, the top 4 picks are the lottery, and then everything else is chalk. Like, I don't know how many of you know the way the draft lottery works, but the way it used to work is that, and I'm not going to get into the percentages, but obviously the worst team had a better percentage than everybody else. Okay, it would be the bottom 14 teams in the league, okay? And everybody would have a percentage. The worst team in the league had the highest percentage to get the number 1 pick. Then there'd be a lottery, and then whoever was drawn had the number 1 pick. From there on, it would be chalk. So if you were the second worst team in the league, right, and the third worst team in the league got the number 1 pick, then it would go, third worst team would have the number 1, worst team would have 2, second worst team would have 3, fourth worst team would have 4. That's the way it would work. And it would go chalk all the way down. Now, it's the top 4 picks are lotteried with all different percentages and crap. And then it's chalk. So the 10th, 11th, and 13th worst teams in the league could have the top 3 picks. And then, let's say the worst team in the league got 4, right? And then you could be the second worst team in the NBA. You could win 15 games. Terrible. And you have the 5th pick in the draft. We all know how the NBA draft works. Almost always, there is a top guy that is the best and 2 other dudes who are really good. Or 3 guys that are all about the same level. That 4th pick is usually the breaking point. And if you're like, oh, you're just making shit up, use some examples, right? We're not using 2025. There is a chance that is one of the greatest drafts of all time. Full disclosure, last year's draft might go down as one of the best ever. If you look at it right now, right? There is a chance Cooper Flag and Concanipple are the white LeBron and Curry. Is that a guarantee? No. We've seen guys with great rookie years that didn't turn out that way. But Concanipple is stupid good. If Cooper Flag didn't exist, Concanipple would be having one of the best rookie seasons we'd seen of the century. Cooper Flag exists, so we have 2 players having some of the best rookie seasons of the century. These are the best rookies we've seen since Luka Doncic. Period, point blank. And Luka was the best rookie we'd seen, arguably, since LeBron. Just truth of the matter, right? And we have two of those guys in the same draft. If Conkinipple was drafted in 2021, we'd be going bananas. If Cooper Flag was drafted in 2021, we'd be going nuts. Those guys are stupid good. Then you got VJ Edgecombe. VJ Edgecombe is having as good of a rookie year as like the 2020 rookies like Anthony Edwards, LaMelo. VJ Edgecombe is not one of the top 2 best rookies. Okay? That's just 3 guys. Derek Queen's also good. Right? Derek Queen, I don't know what the ceiling is on him. Right? Is he really poor man's Jokic? Is he like an Alperen Sengun? Like, what is Derek Queen? I don't know, but he's interesting, right? He's good. And you're like, really? Derek Queen is the next guy you jump to? I mean, why aren't you talking about Dylan Harper? Dylan Harper's good too. Like, Dylan Harper might end up being the second best player in a championship team for his whole career. Or third best player, depending on what they do with Castle. Right? It's absurd. You could take out the 3 best players in this draft, right? Edgecombe, Knipple, Cooper. They're having the 3 best rookie years. You could take all them out, still a good draft. An incredible draft? No. Still a good draft. Because you'd have Cedric Coward, who is not, a future MVP or anything, but he's good, right? So it's an absurd draft. It is absolutely incredible. And honestly, Conkinipple was a guy, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm already talking about Conkinipple. I love Conkinipple. Conkinipple is one of those guys that I felt was a high floor, low ceiling. And you guys know I'm not a huge draft for ceiling guy. I always like drafting. What am I getting? That's how I like to draft, right? Not what could he be, what am I getting? Because for every Giannis, there's Thon Maker, right? For every Giannis, there's, Dragan Bender, right? Like these guys who are like, oh, what could he be? Sekou Doumbouya. Pistons fans know that one, right? These, oh, but what could he be? Stanley Johnson, oh, but what could he be? Josh Jackson, oh, what could he be? Lonzo Ball a little bit that way, right? Like, oh, but what could he be? What is he right now? Conkinipple is one of those great, you're going to get, at worst, he's Dante DiVincenzo. At worst. This is what I felt like. Maybe like a JJ Redick, okay? Just kind of the prototypical white guy shooter. We'll take it. And he might be 6'7" Steph Curry. Never expected that for Conkinipple. So happy for him. I remember I was like, this guy's going to go 10. He's going to be a steal. He went 4. I'm like, ooh, bit aggressive. Probably never going to be the best player on your team, but good for the Hornets. And now I've been watching him his rookie year, and I think there's an argument he should win Rookie of the Year. Cooper started playing absurd, and we'll talk more about Cooper Flag in a moment, but we haven't even started the tiers, and I'm going off about Cooper and Con. They are so incredible, and I think if I'm the NBA, right, they have been kind of impatiently waiting to have new guys to push as the faces of the league. For so long, it was LeBron, KD, and then you threw in Curry eventually, right? For the 2010s, it was LeBron and KD. Those are your two faces. Could have been Wade too, but Wade was teamed with LeBron, so it just kind of became LeBron. Then 2015, Curry pops off. Okay, Curry and LeBron. KD kind of becomes third place. KD joins Warriors, so he just kind of gets swallowed up into the Curry stuff. Also, all the KD texts. I mean, we don't have to address that. The funniest one is the Michael Irvin, I started holding Curry accountable, and they were looking at me like this. That's hilarious. If you know what I'm talking about, it's funny. If you don't, okay. It also makes sense. We always kind of knew KD might be like a cancer to a team. It makes sense given what we've seen. So that's that. But KD has such a weird career. I mean, he's not like the meme that was going around about how KD not being legendary. It's true. Like, he's not a top 10 player all time. He's all talent in the world, but he has a terrible career. His legacy is so messed up. No one cares about the finals he won. I've done my KD soliloquy before. If you want to hear it again, that can be a separate episode. We don't need to do that right now. Point is, they've been looking to market these guys for so long, and the thing is, post LeBron, they really haven't found it. Right? Well, he's not retired, but you know what I mean. He's not the face of the league anymore. And, Giannis, I love Giannis, but it's not him. It's just not. There is something to be said about the fact that it's great to have an international face of the league, but he's probably not going to do as well in America. It's just the reality of it. I love Nikola Jokic, probably my favorite player of all time. Nikola Jokic is never going to be the face of the league. He's not. He's not the guy you put in the Wheaties box. He's more of a cornflakes guy. We all, come on, you could see him on cornflakes. Very plain, very efficient. That's Jokic. You're just never going to be that. Shea, there's an argument for, but I don't think Shea is like that well liked. I think Shea has a lot of bad PR. Like, people just do the foul baiting stuff with him. So it's like, it wasn't really Shea. Anthony Edwards is their best opportunity, and they know it. But he's in Minnesota. And I love when the small market teams have guys, let's be honest. But I am saying, I'm sure that kills some of the vibe for them marketing-wise. So you look around, and here's Victor Wembanyama, who's pretty clearly going to be one of the best players in the league, already is. He's probably going to be the best player in the league, period, by next year, and it's guaranteed probably by 2028 he'll be the best player in the league, period. And then you've been gifted Cooper Flagg and Con Knipple, which is now made me wonder, how the hell did Duke not win the Natty? But that's besides the point. It doesn't make any sense. It makes zero sense. You've been gifted Cooper and Con. If I'm the NBA, I go Ant, Wemby, Cooper, Con. That's our big four. We market everything around those. One guy in the East, three in the West. That's what everything's about. If you want to throw in another East guy, you could do Cade Cunningham. I don't think Cade is a big enough personality. He's too relaxed, chill. I love him, but he seems like he's a Pistons guy more than he's like a face of the league. I just think it's reality. Now, if the Pistons won the finals this year, that's a different story. It's a totally different story. And you're like, Ryan, what about Shea? What about Shea? I'm telling you right now, Cooper Flagg's more popular than Shea right now. At least in America. Just people like Cooper Flagg. It's just reality. So if I'm the NBA, that's what I'm doing. Building around Cooper, Con, Wemby, and obviously there's other guys in the mix, but those are your big four that you slap on everything. In my book, that's what I would do. Get a guy from France, appeal to the international market. Cooper Flagg, genuinely might be the white LeBron. It's actually absurd. And we'll talk about him more later, but I think NBA is in a really good spot. I think the product is on the up, and I think it's really fun where we're at in the NBA right now because we're at the changing of the guard. We're at the point, and the NFL is kind of in the same spot. We had the era of the LeBron, right? We had early LeBron era and late LeBron era. Early LeBron era was the Heat, all that. Late LeBron era, Cavs versus Warriors. And that kind of trickled into I guess it's the weirdo era, if that makes sense. I enjoyed it. But it was an era that's not as popular for the NBA. Very competitive, different teams in the finals all the time. A lot of international players playing well. A lot of international players dominating the league. And now we've kind of entered this new era that's a mix of the international players, but there's some really good American players too. And we're at that precipice of that being the face of the league. And I think we are going to... This finals will be interesting. Is it the last grasp of the old era or fully new era? And are the Thunder going to be stuck in the old era, or can they move to the new era? They're probably going to be able to move to the new era because they're really good. But I think that's what's going to be interesting about where the NBA is at right now. Because Wemby, to me, once the Spurs win the finals, that's the new era. That's where it starts. If it's WWE, that's the WrestleMania where, we are officially a part of. That's Austin, that's Austin. Would we say WrestleMania 14 is the beginning of the... I don't know when exactly. I think the Attitude Era technically starts... does it start at 14? I don't know if... I think that's when... I think the Attitude Era might start there. I think it might start at the King of the Ring speech. Point is, there's a moment where it starts, there's a moment where it ends. Right? Ruthless Aggression. Does it start after X7? Not sure where exactly Ruthless Aggression starts. But my point is, that'll be the point we change over. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. If the Nuggets win the finals this year, we're in the ending stages of the past era. If the Spurs win the finals, we're fully in the new era. So, but yeah, my point is with the tanking is that this is an absurdly good draft. There's a chance this draft is as good as last year's. We might have back-to-back incredible drafts. And I'm starting to kind of not think this draft's as good just because mathematically it seems insane to me we'd have back-to-back two of the greatest drafts ever. But we might because there's so much talent in this. I mean, I forget the guy's name from Illinois. He's stupid good, and he's not even going to be a top 5 pick. So it's so much talent in this draft. We might have back-to-back two legendary drafts. But that's part of the reason there's so many teams tanking. Is these guys, they knew this draft's going to be absurd. But he's messed the draft order too much. I would get rid of the draft lottery fully. That's partially because I kind of think they rig it. I do. And if the draft lottery's rigged, the Mavericks are going to have a top probably 3 pick for next year, so they can get Cooper some help to team him up with somebody, just like they did with Wemby, right? My point is that if the NBA got rid of the draft lottery, I think a lot of people are like, oh, well, that'll just make it so teams tank because they know exactly the pick they're going to get. Yes, but if you're the worst team in the league, you know you're getting number 1. So when you're the 4th worst, it's not like you have a chance at number 1. You're getting 4. You're getting the 4th pick. Like, now they're all like, oh, there's a chance at number 1. Like, you take out that possibility. That cuts down on the, 12 or 13 seed in the conference being like, screw it, we get the number 1. It's like, no, you're not getting the number 1. You're getting like 7 or 8. It's a lock. There's nothing, it's not possible. So I think that cuts down that, because the difference between having a chance at number 1 pick and being guaranteed not even a top 5 pick really changes things. So I would get rid of the draft lottery completely. I think it's fine for baseball if they want to do it, because it's like less impactful, the order and stuff like that in baseball. It just is. There's so many rounds. Like, it's so different. For basketball, it's like the difference between the number 1 pick and the number 5 is incredibly different. For NFL, it's not as much, because you could get the best player at the 5th pick because it was positional value. They needed a quarterback. You wanted the D end. D end fell to 5. He's an incredible D end. Like, we've seen it happen all the time. Like, a great wide receiver is there at 6. And it's like, if you redraft, everybody's like, oh, he's the best player in the draft. It's like, yeah, but you want a quarterback even if he's not as good as a wide receiver. Like, if you're like, can I have a top 5 quarterback or a top 5 receiver? Pretty much everybody's going to take top 5 quarterback. Which, granted, based off we see in the Super Bowl, maybe it's not the right move, based off the way we see teams being built that win. But anyways, I would get rid of the draft lottery. I also said for a while we need to cut the season down. Started on Christmas. I don't know why we play games in October. I don't. I watch some of them. I barely watch them. I really don't watch them. I don't really watch till after Christmas. I think it's the way most people are. Start the season at Christmas, cut it down. That should cut down on some of the load management. That should cut down on just injuries in general. That should cut down on the tanking, because less games makes more games important. And people are like, oh, I guess somebody commented, was like, well, if there's less games, then teams won't even try that are bad. I'm like, I don't think that's the case. I find that hard to believe. So yeah, I think less games would be good. 65-ish is fine with me. And I know the reason I don't want to stop doing 82 is because all the records are tied to that. Certain things will now become unbreakable, right? LeBron's scoring record will never be beaten, because there's never going to be anybody that gets to play as many games as him. Certain records are just going to be, like, a lot of season and career records are not going to be breakable. And I understand that, but also, like, if it creates a better product and it makes everything better, like, why aren't we doing it? I think most people would be pro less games, and then get rid of the draft lottery. It's dumb. We don't need it. I don't think it works. I think it actually incentivizes tanking more. And Adam Silver's just starting to remind me of like a bad bad middle school principal, where he just creates more rules instead of just punishing people for doing what's wrong. He's like, instead of like being like, hey, you can't do that, you're suspended, he just wants to promote like positive behavior and like put more rules in place against people that don't do things. Like, it's like, no, just be like, we can't do this. We got to put a stop to this. We're going to make a definitive change that fixes it. He's just like, well, maybe this will make him do what I want. It's like, it's not how that works. It's just, at some point, you got to lay down a punishment. Like, I get incentivizing being positive, but at some point, people are just going to go against the systems. It's like, what are we doing? Talked about that way longer than I thought I would. Let's get into the NBA checkups. Already a half hour into the show. Wow. All right, so we're going to start at the bottom tier. This tier is called This Draft is Incredible and We Need It. These are the teams that are tanking because they know this draft is incredible and they need it. First team is the Wizards. The Wizards are almost in a tier above because I think they're going to be interesting next year. I don't fully believe they'll be good, but I think there's a chance the Wizards are frisky, kind of like the Hornets this season, because they have Trae Young, they have Anthony Davis. I don't know what Anthony Davis's next couple years of his career look like, given his health. But there is talent on this roster. I like George. I think he's got some talent to him. Trae Johnson is good. Trae Johnson is a flat-out good player. Like, I don't know how good Trae Johnson will eventually be, but if Trae Johnson's your third or fourth best player, hell yeah. If he's your best, but if he's your third, fourth, hell yeah. If he's second, maybe that's a decent team, right? But Trae Johnson is good. I was watching him play the Hornets a couple weeks back, and I was like, damn, like, this dude is good. So Trae Johnson, great piece for them. Wizards would be a fun DeBonsa team. I want DeBonsa to go to a team that doesn't need somebody to be good. They just want like a star. DeBonsa to me is the lowest floor, highest ceiling guy of the guys, which once again, you guys know I'm not a huge fan of high ceiling. Like, what does that really mean? He's just he's the one that I think people think might be Tracy McGrady. I don't love the way he plays. I think people are caught up more. Remember like the old adage, like, oh, I liked the idea of them more than the real them. That's how I feel about AJ DeBonsa. I think a lot of people are caught up in the idea of him more than the real him. So I think the Wizards would, if they rig the draft lottery, they want the Wizards to have a good guy because they actually have some talent now to put with them. So the Wizards would be fun. Still maintain Cooper Flagg. The Wizards have been way more fun than him to the Mavs, but that's fine. I think that's it. What else? Caleb Wilson will also be fun there. Caleb Wilson is a guy that clearly wants to be good. I like that a lot about Wilson. That's why he's like my number 2. I think he's very, very like committed and plays hard, which is why I'll be shocked if he's not back for the tournament. He's like the reverse Darren Peterson in that aspect. Also, I want to say the thing about Boozer that I love, Boozer has a little bit of that Halliburton Jokic thing to him. Like, he kind of makes everybody better. And that's such a rare quality. And that's something where it's like, I don't think Boozer will ever be bad. Like, at worst, he's going to be like a really great player that's a fringe all-star. And that's a great guy to have. Like, at worst. And then the argument's like, well, we could have DeBonsa, who might be an MVP one day, or Peterson, who might be an MVP one day. It's like, that's 100% a good point. But, like, I love getting guys that I know for a fact are going to be at least good for me. Hate just taking a chance, especially when you get a top pick. Because it's so weird. You never seem to get a top pick more than a couple times. I'm talking about my Pistons. Like, my Pistons, we should have had... If there wasn't a draft lottery, the Pistons would have Victor Wembanyama. It's just reality. We would have. We'd have the number 1 pick that year. Now, do I hold that against Adam Silver? A little bit. But I understand why they gave it to the Spurs. Because the Spurs are the perfect team for Victor Wembanyama, right? My point is... The Pistons, part of the reason we were bad for a while is, and you're like, oh, the Pistons worked it out. It would have been a lot easier on the Pistons to rebuild if we were bad and we got Cade Cunningham and then we got like the 2 or 3 pick. I think we would have had the 2. I think we would have had the 2 in 2022. Maybe 3. Either way, we would have gotten Jabari Smith or Chet. I mean, come on. Like, come on. Duran's great, though. I love Duran. So, like, it ended up working out for us. But I'm saying, we're not every team. I'm just pointing that out. Also, Jaden Ivey, I still got your jersey. I love you. I'll miss you. But it just didn't really work out. Just didn't work out. But, all right, Nets are also in this tier. The Nets are 15-38, 13th record in the East. This would also be a fun DeBonsa team. This is probably the most empty roster. I think they have a good coach. I like Jordi Hernandez. But I think this has the least going for it, just from a roster perspective. I think they're the most hideous roster if you just pull it up on paper. So I'm not a huge fan of what they got going on. But all right, third on there's 5 teams in this tier. The Jazz. The Jazz have a pretty good roster, and I like their coach. I think Joe Hardy's good. So yeah, I think once they get somebody interesting, they're off and running. This would also be a fun. The Jazz would be a fun Boozer team or a fun Caleb Wilson team. Like a guy who really cares and really wants to be good instantly, that would be fun for the Jazz. So I would like to see one of those guys. They could be interesting next year. Not like a great team, but they have talent. Like they've held on to Larry Markkinen so damn long, and he's good. So Pelicans are up next. The Pelicans, I don't know. I put them in this tier even though they don't have their own draft pick, which is brutal. Brutal. But they're 15-41, 14th in the West. They're bad. But at least... Like, Jeremiah Fears is pretty good, and Derek Queen I like a lot. So, big Derek Queen fan. And when you're them, at least you have that. But yeah, I should have put them in a different tier, I guess, because they don't have their pick. But then there's the Kings, who are 12-44, 15th in the West. 12 wins out of 56 is so bad. I say that as a Pistons fan. I've been there. It's been rough. But the Kings, I would love for the Kings to get the number 1 pick this year. That's what I say right now. If Darren Peterson went to the Kings... or DeBonsa went to the Kings. Like, those are the guys that need to go to an empty team. Boozer and Wilson, I'd like to go to a team with some talent. The Kings are empty. The Nets are empty. Go to one of those empty teams and just change it. That would be what's fun for them because DeBonsa's got some kinks he needs to work out. Peterson's got to work out the fact that, like, does he care? The Peterson thing's going to be so funny because he's going to play during March Madness, I think. He's going to tear it up. Or he's not going to play as well as everybody expects. We're going to get to the draft, and it'll either be He played so well in March Madness, definitive number 1 pick. But if he doesn't tear up March Madness, if Boozer, Bonsa, or Wilson plays better than him, the talk's going to be, yes, he might be Kobe. But does he care that much? Because even the Anthony Edwards does he care thing was less than this. Like, it was way less than this. And yet, there were still talks of him not going number 1 because of it. Right? The thing is with Peterson is, like, that's real right now. And that's like a general public thing. The DNP nickname is brutal. So it'll be really interesting to see what goes on with him and how that plays. Because if he doesn't play incredible during March Madness, like if he doesn't have a 25 to 30 point game March Madness, I don't know. I think there's a chance he falls. It would be really funny if he just ends up being stupid good. It'd be really funny if he ends up being the best one, but he didn't go number 1 because people were questioning him. That would be a fun story, but we'll see. So that's it for the draft. Is incredible. We need it teams. Next up is what is the plan? Teams that I just don't know what the plan is here. This isn't exactly like an order of like, oh, who's best, who's worst. It's just different tiers of where they're at. Now, granted, in my mind, the teams get better as we go, but as you'll see, like we haven't talked about the Pacers yet. These teams are better than the Pacers, but they're in the tier of what the hell is the plan. The first one's the Bucks, 23-30, 12th in the West. Sorry, 12th in the East. They are not going to make the playoffs because they're not making the playoffs. I hate the plan. I would get rid of it. It's dumb. They're not going to make the plan either. I don't understand why we did Giannis rumors for 2 weeks and then didn't trade him. Like, someone needs to explain that to me. What was that? It was dumb. I just don't understand why we did that. And I just don't know why when you're the Bucks you kept him. Because you're not getting better. This isn't a good team. I didn't think it was a good team beginning of the year. They're worse than I thought they'd be. So I just don't know what the goal is here. I don't get it. And I don't think help is on the way. I don't. So I just don't understand what the plan is. So next up is the Bulls. The Bulls have been in the what's the plan team for since they were good that one year. Was that 2023? I think it was 2023. Might have been 22. I think 23 Kings were like the beam. I think they were 22. I want to say. Maybe. I don't know. They lost the Bucks that year in the playoffs, so I think that was 22, 3. I don't remember either way. The DeMar DeRozan hitting buzzer beaters year. It was fun. It was a fun romp. But they're 24-31, 11th in the East. I like Matas Buzelis. They got rid of Kobe White, who I liked. I'm happy he's on the Hornets. I'm happy about that. It's good. Gosh, what is there to say about... I don't know. The Bulls are... I'd like to see the Bulls get Caleb Wilson or Darren Peterson. Caleb Wilson would be the most fun. North Carolina guy, oh my gosh, next to MJ. That'd be fun. Doesn't like play like MJ, but you know what I'm saying. It'd be... Come on. Darren Peterson would be the oh my gosh next to MJ. Maybe that would force him to care. It's like an insane amount of pressure. But the Bulls, it would be fun if they rigged it for them to finally get a good pick. Because it's such a tough watch with the Bulls. Every year, they're just bad enough that they're not good, but they're not bad enough to be like get a pick. It's terrible. So the Bulls, I just don't get it. What's the plan? Grizzlies next up on what's the plan? 20-33, 11th in the West. I felt like we were moving towards a Ja trade, and then we didn't do anything. I don't know why they're keeping him. I like Cedric Coward. I would build around him. They traded Jaren Jackson Jr. to the Jazz, another guy the Jazz has that's talented. Apparently, they see Edey and Coward as the future of the team. That's great. Why we still hold on to Ja? I think the Heat would pay you for Ja. I think the Heat would give you something. A lot? No. But they would give you something. Why not just do it? I don't understand. What's the plan? So, all right, the next category is will be good next year. First one's the Mavericks. This team is going to be good next year. I've said it multiple times in this podcast. Cooper Flagg has blown me away. I've talked about it on this podcast before. I thought in college Cooper Flagg was great. There are people saying he was the best freshman we've seen, like one of the best freshmen we've ever seen. And that's some crap because Zion Williamson was a better freshman than him. I had farmers in my hometown talking to me at church in December about Zion Williamson. They had dudes watching college basketball. Farmers, right? These guys do not watch a ton of, they don't. Like these farmer guys, like they're just tuning into whatever's on TV. They were watching college hoops in December because of Zion Williamson. Cooper Flagg never had that much motion. Now, is that a rating of how good somebody is? I don't know, but I'm telling you right now, Zion was better in college. They had us thinking Zion Williamson was the truth, and we all bought it, right? Maybe he was, and he blew it. Regardless, Cooper Flagg was great. He didn't impress me that much. Cooper Flagg missed the game winner against Houston. It's the truth of the matter. But I said when he got drafted, he clearly cares about being great. And that's going to carry over the league. And that's the number one thing about him. And I thought he was Jason Tatum. Turns out he might be LeBron. Because they started him at point guard at the beginning of the year. And I'm like, why are they doing this? This is really detrimental to his growth. Everybody was talking about it on their shows. How it was bad for Cooper Flagg. And Conca starts firing up. Conca starts moving, right? Conca was a great litmus test for if your buddies pay attention to basketball. Because if you talked about Conca and said he was best rookie in the league, dudes look at you like you're crazy. They talk about Edgecombe and Cooper Flagg. And that's an Instagram NBA fan. It's a guy who's just looking at Instagram, see what they post. Up until that Conca Cooper Flagg back and forth game that was a masterclass. Up until then, Conca was a bit of under the radar. It was for guys who actually watched the NBA and kept up with it, and the casual fans weren't aware of it. Now they all are, right? But Conca was a perfect litmus test. Beginning of the season, Cooper Flagg was not performing as well as we thought. And then he just took off. Basically, since 2026 started. I mean, he had that stretch of 4 straight games where he scored 30-plus and they lost every game. He has blown me away. And the highlights are absurd. He moves like LeBron. Like, I cannot lie to you all. I cannot stress the fact that I didn't know he was this good of a playmaker. I don't think anyone did. It's absurd. They put him in the point guard position, and it took him about 4.5 months to go, okay, I understand it now, meme. Like, it's that. Not even 4.5 months. October, November, December. About 3 months. It took about 3 months to figure it out. He just became a playmaker. He is as good right now as Jason Tatum was in 2020. The year they went to the Eastern Conference Finals and lost to the Heat. As a rookie. That's how good he is. The numbers are gross. They're gross. And I'm saying that in a good way. Like, let's do this right now. We're going to go to Cooper Flagg Basketball Reference. Just look at him real quick. All right. Also, if Obama wants to become commissioner, he could do it. I used to be a big Adam Silver fan. If Adam Silver really wants to do this free agent thing, I'm sure Obama doesn't. So Obama, get in here. Let's change it up. Anyways. Now, Cooper's hurt right now. Sorry, I was looking at it. It said something about an MRI, and I was like, whoa. Did we hear anything about how long he's going to be out? Hopefully not too long. Okay, here we go. This season, Cooper Flagg, he started all 49 games he's played. He plays about 34 minutes a game, right? Not shooting a ton of threes. Shoots 3.5. Shooting 30%. It's not elite, I must admit. He's averaging 20 points a game, 4 assists, and 6.5 rebounds. I want to pull up rookie LeBron James. I haven't done this. I might be very wrong. I haven't checked to see if these numbers are actually similar. LeBron averaged 21 points a game, 6 assists, actually, okay, and 6 rebounds, and he shot 2.7 threes a game. Exceptionally similar numbers. LeBron averaged 2 more assists, which is better, obviously, and 1 point more. He might be LeBron. Did not expect that when he got drafted. I knew this guy was good. Did not expect him to maybe be LeBron James. It's insane. And I think he's only going to get better. And I cannot stress the fact that it takes everything within me to not think about buying a Cooper Flagg Mavericks jersey. Those green ones, they're only good ones. They have no good jerseys. I hate the Mavericks gear. I remember when Luka Doncic got drafted there, I was so upset as a middle schooler because I wanted to buy a Luka Doncic jersey because I thought he was cool. I'm telling you right now, Cooper Flagg is awesome. He has become probably one of my favorite players in the league. And he is absurdly popular for good reason. Him and Knipple, Edgecombe, these guys, they should just market around him. Edgecombe's awesome, too. People love VJ Edgecombe. Like, lots of people know who he is. He really had a big push in the summer from, like, TikTok edits, and people ate him up. Like, there are people that don't watch much basketball that know about VJ Edgecombe, and they should lean into that. VJ Edgecombe's very good. Now, is VJ Edgecombe as good as Cooper and Kahn? No. I think VJ will probably be the second best player on the Sixers for his whole career. I would be shocked if VJ Edgecombe becomes the best player on the Sixers and becomes a first-team All-NBA guy. I think VJ Edgecombe will be like Jaylen Brown, not like play style, but I'm saying quality, pre this year, where it's like this guy's a top 20 guy, all-star every year, but he's not that upper echelon. That's what I see for VJ. There is a chance he's Dwayne Wade. Right now he looks like a lesser Dwayne Wade. But there's a chance he's real Dwayne Wade, which real Dwayne Wade was obviously a first-team All-NBA guy, best player on the team level guy. I mean, he won a championship his third year in the NBA and was finals MVP. I mean, it's absurd. So, then there's that. But I don't know if VJ's that good. Knipple and Cooper legitimately could both be MVPs someday. And they were college teammates that didn't win the national title. It's absurd. It's absurd. Dylan Harper's also good. I think Harper's weird because I think he's always going to be with Wemby, and it's like, how high is Harper's ceiling? Like, if Harper was on like a worse team, I think we'd have a better concept. But Harper's good for what it's worth. It's just Cooper's blowing me away. The Mavericks should be good next year. I think they're going to get a good pick because like I said, I low-key am starting to think they rigged the draft lottery, so they're going to make sure Cooper gets somebody. And Cooper flag might be LeBron. So, all right, next up, Pacers. We all know this Pacers team is good. Like, going and getting Zubac is huge. Zubac is an incredible ad, and they're going to be good next year. If they get a top 4 pick, I might take them to win the finals. I'm not going to lie to you. If they get Cameron Boozer, they could win the finals. Hell, if they get the 6th pick, they still might be able to win the finals. But top 4, there are 4 guys in this draft that are number 1 overall quality. If the Pacers get one of those and pair those with Tyrese Halliburton in a team that went to the finals last year, they're instant contender. They're 15-40 right now, 14th in the league. I thought this team would be a lot better. You know what? I'm fine with the fact they suck this year. I thought I said at the beginning of the year, one of those teams is going to overperform, one of those is going to underperform. Celtics and Pacers. I guess the Celtics underperform. I guess the Pacers to overperform. It was reverse. And the overperforming is way more than I expected. The underperforming is way more than I expected. But the Pacers are going to be awesome next year. There's no doubt in my mind. Next one is the one I kind of couldn't decide on, but I ended up saying, yes, they're going to be good next year. And that's the Hawks. The Hawks have been a cutesy pick to be good. If they're good, like if they're going to be a cutesy pick to be good next year probably, which is weird because they were already that this year. But Jalen Johnson's really good. And there's no doubt in my mind about that. It's just he needs somebody to go with him. And the Hawks are going to have 2 swings at a top pick because they have the Pelicans pick. So the Hawks, do they have the Bucks pick this year too? Let me just look up. Let me go to Tankathon real quick. I do want to check because that's really important if the Hawks have the Bucks pick this year because it's another potential lottery pick. Oh gosh, when I looked up 2026 draft and made it NFL, whoopsie. Okay. They do not have Milwaukee's pick this year. That's interesting. Because if they rig the draft lottery, there's a chance they want to, if Giannis is staying, they do it for them to get a top pick. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? Yeah, but they do have New Orleans, so the Hawks are going to have 2 swings. No. Okay, the Spurs have the Hawks pick. I forgot about that. So the Hawks get 1 swing, but it's New Orleans, which is much better odds than their own. Okay. Cool. So, yes, the Atlanta Hawks next year, if they could get one of those top guys, I also just think in general, if they get like even somebody like 6 or 7 pick, like that could be a good ad for them. I just think right now they're 10th in the East. They are better than that. They'd have been a really interesting Giannis team, can't lie. I just think the Hawks, they have a lot of talent. Like Alexander Walker is killing it for them. Like, what? There's talent on this team. So Jalen Johnson's legit. So, all right, next tier will be worse next year. So we talked about teams that are going to be good next year. What teams are going to be worse? The Warriors. They're on a downhill trajectory, and I know Steph's never going to leave. And I respect them for that, but they're going to be worse next year. The Warriors are 29-26. They're 8th in the West. They're not going to go on a magical run to the finals. They really, if Giannis can be dealt this summer, they got to give it all up for him. That's the only real way we get back to Curry in the finals, which sucks that he might just kind of have a Kobe end of career where you're just kind of playing around with guys that aren't that great. So the Warriors, I actually got to watch them live, 2 weekends ago? Yeah. And they're not great. So, yeah. Kind of a shame for Steph, can't lie. And then the Magic. You guys know I'm out on the Magic. I was out on them at the beginning of the year. I didn't think they were going to be as good as everybody predicted. I was right. They're actually worse than I expected. They're 28-25, 7th in the East. And Paolo, those problems that I saw with him, I was right. He's a little too concerned about trying to be Carmelo Anthony when he should be trying to be Giannis. And it's not working. And I don't know what they're going to do with Paolo. I don't know if there's real value to trading him. They might. And it's like, okay. You've obviously got some good players in this team, like Suggs. Anthony Black coming along has been awesome for them. That's the big one. Anthony Black becoming a real player for the Magic is huge. But, like, Paulo is the main guy. And if you move off Paulo, you need a main guy. They're honestly the Rockets of the East in my book. But they're like the Rockets 2024. Not 2025 when they were the 2 seed. They're really good. They're like the 2024 Rockets. And so it's like, let me check. What's the Rockets' record of that year? I'm trying to remember where they were at. Because that's what they remind me of. I did not have this comparison ready. So I was like, okay, here we go. On the Wikipedia page for every NBA team, it lists what their radio station is. That's fun. Okay. Yeah, the 2024 Rockets went 41-41. I remember this, and then they were like a cute pick to be good the next year. That's what I thought. Yeah, okay. That's what I figured. Because they got Amen. Yeah, I remember all this. So, point is, that's the team they remind me of. The problem with 2024 Rockets was like their guy was supposed to be Jalen Green. Never really materialized into being Jalen Green. And while Sengun's really good, I don't think Sengun's good enough to be your best guy. 2025 didn't really matter. They were able to get it going with what they had. And there was a lot of talent, and it worked. But they didn't have that go-to guy. So then what they do this year? Well, I've got KD to be their guy for 2026. That guy late in the game you can go to. Magic are very similar. I don't know who the KD is for the Magic. Right? Who is going to be that guy for Orlando? Could you try to get Giannis for Paolo? I don't know why the Bucks would ever do that. I don't see it. I was going to do a whole pod about different Giannis packages. I never did it, which was good because he didn't end up getting dealt. So it'd just been whatever. So my argument was the Spurs have the best package if they said Harper and the Hawks pick. They might not even have to give up the Hawks pick. But if they said Harper and the Hawks pick for Giannis straight up, they could do it. Maybe you'd have to throw in some other guys for salary. But point is, like Harper or Luke Cornett, would that be enough for salary purposes? And then a first? Like the Hawks first. It's like a lottery pick for this year, most likely. Come on. That's the best package. Or the Thunder, just say cornucopia picks, hand them over. Those are kind of the two most interesting packages. And you're like, Ryan, those are the 2 top teams in the West. Yeah, and then they would win the finals. So now I actually think for the Spurs it made sense to not do that move. I fully thought it actually was better for the Spurs to stick with what they had because they might be good for 10 years. Whereas if Giannis, you could be good for like 3 to 4, most likely. So anyways, that's it for the will be good next year's. Oh, sorry. That's it for the will be worse next year's. And then the next category I have is the Steelers. And there's one team here, and it's the Heat. They're 29-27. They're 8th in the East. I mean, they are the Steelers, right? They're just good enough every year. They have a great coach. They have a winning culture. But it's not... The Heat culture is not go to the finals randomly like it used to be. Okay, they haven't made it to the Eastern Conference Finals since 2023. I don't anticipate them making it this year, nor should you. Probably going to move off Bam Adebayo this summer. There's rumors him and AJ Wilson both want to play in Golden State. It'd be interesting for the Warriors to go do that. Does that make me feel that different about the Warriors? No, but yeah. So shout out to the Steelers, the Heat. All right, next category is what I have. This is a tier above that. I call this League Pass bimbos. And what I mean by this is they're fun. They're a fun League Pass team. They're fun to hang out with. They look great. You're having a great time. But, like, you're not going to consistently date. one of the league pass bimbos, right? Like it's great to have around, great, but like it's not a long-term commitment. It's not there yet, right? That's the league pass bimbos. Teams that they're good, they're fun, you love talking about them with your friends, right? You love watching, but like, we're not busting out the ring because they're not getting a ring anytime soon, right? They could, just the way it is right now, not going for a ring. So, league pass bimbos, there's three big ones, right? Trailblazers, obviously. Denny Avdija is absolutely hooping. Former Ryan Klinger All-Star, so shout out to him. But he's been great. But, like, is anyone in their right mind taking the Trailblazers to win a playoff series? Probably not. And I don't know what the plan is when you're the Trailblazers. Like, do you truly believe Denny Avdija is going to be the best guy in a championship team? I don't. It's like, what are you going to do? Are you trying to be the Rockets? Maybe they're the Rockets, right? Can you get somebody else to pair with Denny Avdija? I don't know. If Dame comes back, does that make a big difference? You want a playoff series? You want like a Pacers 2025 run? I mean, every team probably thinks they go on a Pacers 2025 run. Well, guess what? You know why the reason that run's so damn special? Because that hadn't happened since 2019. That was the last great. Well, there's an argument the 2023 Heat, but I think we kind of discount the Heat as their own being. As far as a team just going on a legendary finals run out of the blue, non-Heat related, it was the 2019 Raptors. If you started saying, oh, well, we're going to count the Heat ones, okay, 2023 and then 2020 and then 2019 was the last, like, the random great finals runs. So, Trailblazers, there's an argument, oh, maybe Dame comes back, but, like, I don't see it. I don't think you should either. That doesn't make sense. They have a lot of players I like, though, like Too Many Kamara, big Too Many Kamara guy. So, all right, I love Donovan Clingan, too. Oh, man, love Donovan Clingan. He's so good. I don't know why he wasn't the number one pick in 2024. I thought that at the time. I'm like, this guy is the base level best dude. Him and Reed were the two I liked. Him and Reed Shepard. Two fair guys. You can go back and listen to those pods. I was big on Reed Shepard. I was big on Donovan Clingan. I'm like, these guys are good. I don't know why you wouldn't take them. Whatever. Suns, they're 32-23, 7th in the West. Suns are fun. They got Devin Booker, right? They've got a coach who's doing a really good job. They have fun young players. They have a guy that I forget the name of that's also good. It's bothering me. What is his name? I'm going to pull up their roster as we speak. Well, as I speak, you're just listening. Colin Gillespie. They got Maluach, which I like. He's a fun player, right? Jalen Green. Yeah, he's been playing. Jalen Green been doing all right. Like Jalen Green's been trying his best out there. I give him credit. Where's everybody's? Yeah, I mean, Booker is Devin Booker. Dylan Brooks at this point. Oh gosh, is that the real Jalen Green number? I felt like when I watched him, he wasn't that bad. Holy shit. Never mind, Jalen Green's bad. Wow, that's real poor. Anyways. Whoo, mama. Anyways. Yeah, we're not counting him. Oh, my boy Isaiah Livers on this team. I didn't realize that. Shout out Isaiah Livers. Grayson Allen and Dylan Brooks at this point, it just needs to be accepted that they play winning basketball. Like, Dylan Brooks is like essentially just like you get him, you play winning basketball now. So, shout out Dylan Brooks. Grizzlies, he leaves, they start losing. Rockets, he goes there, they start winning. Now, they're still winning now, he's gone. But the Suns, he goes there, they start winning. The Suns were a terrible position. I remember talking about it here, it was awful. Devin Booker got to get out of there, come to Detroit. He still should get out of there and come to Detroit. But the Suns are a team that are a really fun league pass bimbo. They're probably going to make playoffs. They're probably going to be a fun 5 to 6 game series loss to a really good team. So shout out the Suns. Credit to them, honestly. Credit to them. All right, next up, my favorite of League Pass Bimbos, my personal League Pass Bimbo, the team I have watched the second most in the NBA this entire season, and that's the Charlotte Hornets. Oh, man. Whoo, man. They are so much fun. The only bad part is that I hate watching LaMelo Ball play basketball because I think he's incredibly frustrating. He has a lot of talent. He is a very bad decision maker, which is terrible when he's your point guard. A lot of people be like, and he's inefficient. You're right. It's just, I feel like it's very easy to say he's inefficient. Like, we all know he's inefficient, so I was trying to go for something else. He pisses me off with his bad decision making. He's not good at making decisions. But Brandon Miller's really good, no doubt about that. But the real bell the ball is Concanipple. Like this, there is a it's absurd. Let's look at the Concanipple numbers. We talked about Cooper earlier, right? Let's do the Concanipple numbers because they're who. All right, so Cooper is averaging more points. He was averaging 20. Knipple's averaging 19, right? Knipple's averaging 3 assists if you round up, 3.6, and then 5.5 total rebounds. But the 3-point shooting, right? I mean, He is shooting 8 threes a game on 43%. One of the best three-point shooters in the league as a rookie. Don't flinch. This guy's the truth. Love Concanippo. Bill Simmons is completely validated in all of his craze over Concanippo. It's awesome. So, the Hornets are so much fun. They should build around Concanippo. I don't know if there's value to get rid of LaMelo or if you can just... I don't know if you can fix LaMelo. I would trade him, but that's me. I just hate watching him play. I don't think they will, though. They'll try to make it work. Fine. All right, next up, the tier above that is called good teams that scare no one. These teams are good, but like no one is afraid of these teams. These teams are not going to win the finals. These teams couldn't... I don't even think they could go to the conference finals. They're good, but they're not scaring anybody. First one's the Sixers. Tyrese Maxey should be first-team All-NBA. Tyrese Maxey basically had a Jalen Brunson year. He might have become, like, he just did it, where he was like, I was good before, and now I'm incredible. Tyrese Maxey is nuts now. So, when you're the Sixers, you're like, okay, we got VJ and Maxey. Let's run it. I don't know why they got rid of McCain. I felt like he had value. Like, I just didn't. I don't know. It's whatever. You knew he was going to be pretty good wherever he went. Like, it's a shame. But anyways, the Sixers right now, a light in the darkness, right? Getting VJ and then Maxey. Because it would be a great season if VJ was doing what he was doing and Maxey was still who he was. But now Maxey took a level up and VJ's here. It's awesome. Like, absolutely awesome when you're the Sixers. And you're like, middle finger... Like, all you guys who said we should have taken Ace Bailey, we knew what we were doing. So, credit to him. Ace Bailey might be like the worst guy in the top 10 picks. Might be like the Darko Milicic of this draft. It's like a generational draft. He's not good. And I thought there was a chance he could be, but it's... You want to talk about a guy that you're not drafting for the floor, you're drafting for the ceiling. Ace Bailey, one of those. Anyways. Yeah, Sixers are great. I think they're fun, but the Sixers will be... Could they be a contender next year? Maybe with the right moves. It's weird because you're spending so much money on George and Embiid for guys that no one's like, oh man, but they got George and Embiid. Like, it's just a weird team that way. They're like in between eras, but they're too good. So it's like it's just hard. There's not really a good answer there. So they're a good team, but they don't scare anybody. Everybody feels like every single team in the East that's good feels like they can beat them, and they're not wrong, right? All the other teams above them can beat them. Other than this team, which is the Lakers, another good team that scares no one. LeBron's leaving, right? Like, the thing is with LeBron, if we know one thing about LeBron, he loves attention. And LeBron knows the number one fan base that is going to treat him like a god when he's retired is the Cleveland one. And for good reason, I understand, right? It's really, I think the LA experiment with LeBron has somewhat been a failure. I'm sure he looks back on it fondly. But if you would have told me, hey, he goes to LA, he breaks scoring record, it's like, okay, that was probably a given if he played as long as he planned. And it's like, he goes to LA and he's there the longest he's ever been consecutively with any team. And he wins one finals. I'd be like, what? One? You're like, oh, he got old, they messed up, they made some bad moves. LeBron helps make all those moves. Getting Russ was definitely a LeBron call. Let's not lie to ourselves. The Davis move was awesome. That was the best fit I think we've ever seen of a LeBron duo. It was so much fun to watch him with Davis. But, you're like, oh, we couldn't blame him for leaving the Cavs. I'm not. I'm just saying, looking back, I don't think it was a major success. I don't. And I think he knows he can go to Cleveland. They're going to be a contender next year. With him, they'd probably be the favorite, I'd say. He doesn't even have to be a top 3 best player on the team. He could be the 4th best player on the team. One last run, everybody in Cleveland go to all the games, go crazy. Makes a lot of sense. I think he's going to come back to the Cavs next year, and people are going to go nuts. Makes total sense to me. So it's also nice that they could use a guy to kind of do what he does. Honestly, he would actually be a pretty decent fit there, right? Him wanting to play with James Harden, that was hilarious to me. Like, I don't wonder if he saw that move and was like, maybe I won't go back to Cleveland. Funniest shit ever would be the Spurs. I just want to say that'd be the funniest shit ever. But I don't think he'd do it. I think he wants to keep it at 3 so he can say he won a Finals MVP with every team. That's the key piece for him. It's all about the optics with LeBron. So he's off the Lakers. The Lakers at this point are just full building around Reeves and Luka. Makes sense. But they're not winning the finals. They don't have enough depth. They're not good at defense. They have Reeves, LeBron, Luka, and that's mostly it. We all don't like DeAndre Ayton, and for good reason. Rui Hachimura is pretty good. It's a weird Lakers team. I still beg that they should bring back the actual yellow jerseys instead of the banana yellow. And yellow is my favorite color, but I'm telling you, the old yellow was better. This Lakers team scares no one because they're not that great. All right, next tier. These teams kind of needed Giannis. Like the Knicks. They're 35-20, third best team in the East. Are the Knicks better than the Celtics or Pistons or Cavs? Or even the Raptors? Maybe they're better than the Raptors. At this point, I think the Cavs are better. I fully think the Celtics and Pistons are better. Pistons own the Knicks. The Pistons play the Knicks Thursday night. I think the Pistons are going to smack them. I fully do. I think the Knicks are about as good as they were last year. Maybe a little worse. Honestly. I think last year they were probably better. When I'm thinking about it. How I felt about them, I felt like they were better last year. I didn't think that going into this year. But now that we're sitting here watching the season, I think they were better last year. And so my point is with the Knicks is like you kind of needed the Giannis deal. Now, were you better with the Giannis deal? I think unequivocally yes. Like you get Giannis, you get the third or fourth best player in the NBA. Yeah, you're better. But like without it, I don't. They're winning games. They're third best team in the East, right? 35-20. You can't scoff at that, Ryan. I mean, Celtics are 35-19, basically the same record. I get it. I do. And they've had a really nice end of January. They did. And playing well. Played a lot better than they were back in December. Post-Cup, they were bad. They won the NBA Cup. That's obviously a little bit of feather in their cap, even though nobody gives a shit about the Cup. But I think they kind of needed the Giannis move to juice them up. They need some juice. The other team that needed Giannis move was the Timberwolves. 34-22, sixth best team in the West. If you're a Timberwolves fan, you really think you're winning the finals? I don't. You think you can beat this? Because you're going to have to beat 2 out of the 3, just mathematically, of the Nuggets, Spurs, and Thunder. You think you can beat 2 out of those 3 and then go to the finals? Not even talking about winning the finals, just because you're going to play one of them in the semis and one of them in the conference finals. Can you beat them? 7-game series, you got to beat 2 of those. I don't think so. I fully don't think so. What would Anthony Edwards have to do for that to be possible? Fly? Like do the Space Jam Michael Jordan dunk? It's not happening. So they kind of needed the Giannis thing to juice them up. Because they had Giannis and Ant, we're all sitting here talking about how they can win the finals. Doesn't matter if the entire team was the same. You just take out Julius Randle. I don't know, who else would you really move to get Giannis? Terrence Shannon Jr.? I don't know. Right? That's probably a bunch of picks if you're them. You remove Rudy? Would you have moved Rudy to get Giannis like Rudy and Randle? Then the whole damn team's going. I don't know. Who knows? Regardless, I don't think the Timberwolves are winning the finals. I don't think they do either. I think they know they needed the Giannis deal. All right, next up are the good teams that scare people. They're not exactly contenders, but they're scary. First one's the Clippers. Ryan, they're 26-28. They're 10th in the West. I really don't care. I like the Garland deal for them. I said last offseason, that there's a team out there that thinks Darius Garland could be their Tyrese Halliburton. I think the Clippers might be the one that thought that. If Kawhi is healthy, this Clippers team is going to scare people. Now, losing Zubats, that hurts. Really does. Bit of the defensive identity's gone. But Kawhi Leonard, we all know Kawhi Leonard. Like, in 2019, after winning that finals, he was the best player in basketball. We all said it. And if you didn't, you thought it. It's the truth of the matter. When Kawhi is healthy and he's playing, that's a scary team. No doubt in my mind. So, Clippers are a team that scare people. Next up's the Raptors. They're 32-23, fifth best team in the East. They've really had a nice season. Early on, a little shaky, really come around. I just think they're a little weird when the playoffs come. This is the way the Raptors are built, are the signature first round out team. We had a great run, but there's not enough there. There's just not enough there. And I don't know down the stretch if relying on Brandon Ingram and Scotty Barnes is going to work out. I just don't. And maybe I'm reading them wrong. I don't really watch the Raptors. Maybe I'm off. But in my book, I think this Raptors team is, I don't know if they're a couple years away because I don't really know who grows to make them that good. I like Grady Dick, so he's fun. But yeah, Raptors, they're fun, but I don't. They're similar to the way I feel about the Rockets, right? They're also in this category. They're the other team in this category. The Rockets 33-20, fourth best team in the West. They haven't performed the way I thought they would. I thought about the beginning of the year taking the Rockets to win the finals. Freddie Van Vliet went down. I decided against it. Good move. I don't think the Rockets are as good as the 6 teams I have as contenders. I have 6 teams as contenders. A month ago, I probably would have given you 3. I've changed my mind, gotten higher on some other teams than I was before. So, these teams are good. I don't think any of them are making the finals, nor can I think they can win it. So, they are the tier below the contenders. What is it for the Rockets? I don't know. I just think there's other teams that are better. No data, just raw aura. Right, here we go. Rockets, Spurs semifinals. You're just looking at the graphic. It's like Wemby, Castle, Harper, De'Aaron Fox. Those 4. Stayed up against KD, Sengun, Amen, Jabari. I named a lot of good players. There are 8 good players. I think the Rockets actually, cumulatively, have better players. But you're looking at it. I'm probably taking the Spurs. I'm probably taking the Spurs, right? Wemby is going to have Sengun in hell. Hell, right? Thunder Rockets. How long does it take you to decide the Thunder are beating them in a playoff series? How many seconds do you need? Not minutes, seconds. Okay? All right. Here we go. All right. Next one. Nuggets. So it's Sengun, KD, Jabari, and Amen standing there. Look at the graphic. The other side, Jokic, Cam Johnson, Murray, Aaron Gordon. Once again, Rockets have more talent, accumulatively. I look at Jokic, and I look at the Rockets, and I go, Jokic is picking them apart because it's Jokic, and that's what he does. Jokic. Thank you. We're done here. I just don't see them being better than the top 3 teams of the West. That's why they're 4th, for good reason. So, let's move into the contenders. First one is the Cavs, 34-21, 4th team in the East. They're going to have a better record by the end of the season. They might end up being 3rd. They might leapfrog the Knicks. Could they leapfrog the Celtics? I don't know. It's really close up there. Really is. There's a chance the Pistons are the 4th seed. I don't think so. I think the Pistons are pretty clearly going to be the number 1 seed. I think they're excellent. Barring some sort of post-All-Star game losing streak, which J.B. Bickerstaff used to do all the time with the Cavs. And every Cavs fan I know, because I know a shitload live in Ohio, it's like, oh, well, you got to remember you're a J.B. Bickerstaff coach team. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I understand. He had bad posts. He was bad after the All-Star break, and he had bad playoffs. I think this Pistons team is different. I think he always wanted to run this type of offense, the solar system offense. Kate Cunningham, no, it's good. The Cavs have really impressed me, and I was out on this team whole season. They're not the same; they're worse, and I give them a lot of credit. Kobe Altman, credit to you for actually making a move, for actually stepping up and saying, "Here we go." You know what? This isn't working. And because a lot of teams make the mistake of waiting until the offseason. Cavs could have kept the exact same team, lose first, second round. Thank you, fans, blah, blah, blah. No. They moved off Garland. They went, they got James Harden. A ballsy move. James Harden will not be on this team probably by next All-Star break. Probably by next All-Star break, he's traded. Right? Especially if LeBron comes. There's a chance they just say, James, you're out. This offseason, maybe. Right? There's a real chance. Maybe LeBron wants to play with Harden. That would be the only reason I could see him being on this season, next playoffs. Being on this team next playoffs. But the way they're playing right now, Harden was a perfect add. And the things Harden does well late in his career are really beneficial for the Cavs. And it's nice to take scoring and, he can play, make, and score. That's what James Harden's always been able to do. So, hell yeah. So it's let's run it. And when you're the Cavs, you really didn't need more defense. It's not like you're losing defense by getting rid of Garland. So, yeah, it was a great move. I really liked it for them. And, I think it was great. So, I was a big fan of that move. Big fan. So, not when it happened, actually, for what it's worth. Seeing how it played out after, I was like, oh, this works. 5 straight wins? Come on. So, yeah. James Harden, I made him a contender. Here's the thing, it is James Harden, right? So we'll see in the playoffs. This is probably the one I thought about doing good teams to scare people, but I decided to put him contender because I think there's a chance Cavs win the finals. It's probably the least of these top ones, but I think there's a chance, especially compared to the next team, the Celtics. The Celtics are 35-19, second team in the East. If the Celtics get Jason Tatum back, they dead ass should be the favorite to win the finals, like over everybody. I mean, there's a Ewing theory argument, right? There's an argument that him being gone has made them better, and then adding him back is going to mess things up. But if that doesn't happen, Joe Mazzulla is so good. It's absurd. It's so crazy how good Joe Mazzulla ended up being as a coach. I don't think anybody expected that. This is crazy. He's so good. Like, even Celtics fans really like him that much. And here he is. And they play so much more entertaining basketball now. Like, they've gotten away from that Excel spreadsheet offense. And Jaylen Brown becoming what he's been this year. I thought he was going to lead league in scoring. Like, I thought there was a good chance of that. I think I actually bet that. I tied it up with other stuff, though, so I'm not getting it back. Like, I tied up like a Thunder 70 wins thing. It was having fun. But Jaylen Brown, it's been awesome for him. And it's that type of guy doesn't win most improved player, but it's been incredible. And I don't know if he really should. I'm just saying. But the ascendance of Jaylen Brown, he's going to be first team All-NBA, and he 100% deserves it. Right? First team All-NBA right now is probably Maxey, Cunningham, him, Shea. Is Jokic going to play enough? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Jokic's going to play enough. It'd be interesting who the fifth guy is. But they're really getting benefited by the fact it's not position-based because you'd have to decide between Cade or Maxey. Because I think Brown's definitive. I would put Cade. I think Maxey would bump to second. Just because the team records factor in, right? But the Celtics are... It's really good. I like Simons, though. I was a little upset seeing him move off him. It's the depth, man. Like, they're deep. They're just good. It's the Celtics. Like, we know how blown me away this year. And Jaylen Brown is the biggest reason. If Tatum comes back and he's not full health, and they're like, Brown, we need you to be the guy that wins us the finals, I think he can do it. It's incredible. So, all right. Next up in the contenders are the Nuggets. My pick to win the finals beginning of the year. If you said what's your finals right now, I think it's the exact same I had at the beginning of the year, except I'm starting to lean towards the Pistons maybe winning. Can't lie to you. But the Nuggets, I thought they had a great offseason. I thought they're going to be great this year. I thought this would be the best Nuggets team since they won the finals back in 23. I feel the same way right now. It's a really good team, and Jokic is still Jokic. Still the best player in the league. Wemby's coming, but he's still the best player in the league. 35-20, third best record in the West. I think I already said that. I don't know what else there's to say. It's been great. So Nuggets are awesome. So they have the best player in the league, and the team is better than it was for the last 2 years. They can win the finals, no doubt. The team that I could very well see them beating them in the playoffs and preventing a finals run isn't the Thunder, though. It's the San Antonio Spurs, who are next up. 38-16, second in the West. Guys, what if the Spurs just won the finals? What do we do? What do we do when Victor Wembanyama about a month before his 24th birthday, I believe Wemby's 23. I'm going to check that. I think he's 2004. Oh, it was January 4th, 2004. I don't know why I was making him July. My bad. So Wemby turned 22 in January. What do we do if he wins the finals at 22? Right? Like, we were all impressed when Shea won at 26. He won an MVP and finals MVP at 26. Wemby could win the finals at 22 with a team that's supposed to be young and frisky, not a team that's supposed to beat the Nuggets. So, I honestly would say the Nuggets are probably the second best team in the West. I think the Spurs are actually third. But could you not see it? Could you not see the Spurs just upsetting the Nuggets? Everybody's like, holy shit. Wemby just knocked out Jokic. Holy shit. and then they use that momentum to beat the Thunder, and they go on to win the finals. And you're like, what about the East team? If they were able to beat the Nuggets and the Thunder, come on. Even if it's my Detroit Pistons, I'd have to be honest with myself. Like, come on. It's something to keep in mind. All right, next up, Pistons, 40-13. Oh my gosh, 40-13, first in the East. I mean, come on. It's been awesome. All right, it's been absolutely awesome, and I love it. And you just got pissed on all the stuff, right? You know, the Detroit News Press posted that. That was fun. I forget what exactly it was. I think it's just Detroit Times, Detroit News Press, something like that. I feel dumb because they actually posted my thing. I should remember. I can't remember off the top of my head. I didn't plan to shout them out. Let me. They don't need my shout out. They're big. I can find it. Give me a second. Just kill. The Detroit Times. That's what it was. I posted my get pissed on graphic, so that was cool. Yeah, so what is there to say about the Pistons? I mean, we have depth, we have great coaching, we have a player that can be the best player on a championship team. Kata's a top 10 player in the league. Probably like 8 or 9, but he's top 10 player in the league. It's pretty awesome. So, yeah. And we play really hard, and we're probably going to get in a fight in the playoffs, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait to tune in to Detroit Pistons basketball in May of 2026. We're going to be playing in May. It's incredible. That was a horrible noise I just let out. If you're listening to this in the car, I'm sorry. If you're listening to this in general, I'm sorry. That was awful. But I'm so excited. I don't know if I've ever done that on a pod. It's crazy. We went like an hour and a half, me solo. I haven't went solo an hour and a half since the Sort of Sporties. Whew. I'm probably going to be going for another half hour. I got a lot more to say. I'm just going to warn you right now. Yeah, the Detroit Pistons. I mean, I literally have like a Detroit Pistons hat in this closet behind me. I would reach back and get it, but I don't think I can get it with this chair. So, yeah, it's been awesome. So, okay. Obviously, the number one team is the Thunder. That's like, I don't know if these are ranked number one, but obviously the last contender is the Thunder, 42-14, first in the West. They're not unbeatable though. I think we all thought they were going to be better than last year, and I think they're about the same. There's a chance they're a little worse. I think right now it feels like they're about the same. I think we all kind of thought for a second they were better. They're not. They don't seem unbeatable. If the finals was Thunder-Pistons, I could talk myself into the Pistons beating them. I think I could talk myself into the Pistons beating anybody except the Spurs. If the Spurs beat the Nuggets and Thunder, because that would be the way it would probably work out. If they were the 2 seed or 3 seed, they would have to play that. If the Spurs beat the Nuggets and Thunder, like, okay. That would be the one for me, is if the Spurs beat both of them. Because if the Nuggets beat the Spurs and Thunder, that's different. If the Thunder beat the Nuggets and Spurs, it's different. If the Spurs beat those two teams, right, arguably the 2 best players in the league, probably the 2 best players in the league, and Wemby just beat both of them, it's like, whoa. So that would be the team I take over the Pistons by, like, no question. The other ones, I probably take Pistons to win. I think the Pistons can beat them, so it's awesome. So, all right, that's it. That was my NBA checkup, my annual NBA checkup. I enjoy doing it so much. It's always fun right after, because I've been keeping up with the NBA, but I just don't talk about it as much during NFL, just the way it works. I like doing all the NFL stuff, so I love when the NBA's back, though. I really, really enjoyed this season. It's been a great year, and it's obviously super fun that my Detroit Pistons are hooping. And I think we just have such a fun influx of young talent right now, and it's only going to get better because these guys are only going to improve. And I think next year's draft, obviously not next year, but I guess it's this year now, but this draft is supposed to be incredible also, so we are going to be flush with young talent, and having 2 more teams in the league is desperately needed because we used to just have more shitters. There's the Nets are like the only team that's empty. Maybe, I guess the Kings, right? They just have, like, no talent. But there's just, like, even the Wizards. Like, the Wizards have a lot of talent for being as bad as they are. Like Trae Young and Anthony Davis. Like, the Jazz have a shitload of talent for as bad as they are. So it's like the teams that are bad are so much better than what the teams used to be. Like, boot up 2K17 tonight. Look at the bad teams. Like 2017 Mavericks, their best player was like 36-year-old Dirk, and like Wesley Matthews. Was Wesley on the team by then? Maybe it was 2018. Either ways, like it was rough. Harrison Barnes might have been their best player 2017. Like, come on, Harrison Barnes, be serious. Harrison Barnes to listen to this. He's like, what the? Wait. It's just funny. I'm willing to bet Harrison Barnes doesn't listen to this. But, yeah, we just have, like, way shittier teams. So, like, that 2017 Mavericks team wasn't even a bottom 3 team in the league that year, I don't think. I think they were, like, 4th or 5th. And yet, they're probably about, like, as bad as the Nets this year, who are, like, probably the worst straight up. Them are the Kings. So that's my piece. There's just more talent. So we desperately need expansion. We're getting a team in Vegas. We're getting a team in Seattle. If Silver's on his A game, he would move the Timberwolves over to the East, because then that puts Ant in the East and spreads the talent more. But he probably will do the Grizzlies. And it's just fine. It's fine. It's not the end of the world. But I'm just saying, if we're going for league entertainment, you should do the Timberwolves. But I get why you just do the Grizzlies. It makes a little more sense geographically. I think it's a little more east than like the Minneapolis is. But, whatever. Seattle will be fun. The day the Sonics are back will be fun. I'll probably buy like a Sonics gear. It'd be really fun if this was the year that we were doing expansion, because it's such a loaded draft that you'd be like guaranteed that those teams would get somebody good. That would be fun. But it'll probably be like 2029, probably. Like if the expansion gets approved this offseason, I think the idea that they can get expansion going in a year is insane. It'd be 2 years. So 29 probably be the easiest. Maybe even 2030 would be when we get 2 new teams. But it's desperately needed. There's so much talent. So, all right. That's it. That's it for the NBA checkup. It was really fun. So, all right. I got a little bit more I want to talk about. I read some books. I already read first book of the year, Rule of 4. Who is that by? Give me a second. Ian Caldwell and Dustin Thomason? Or Thomason. I'm probably Thomason. It was good, but it was weird because have you ever... So like with books, right? I'm big like this with show. Like really anything other than like movies. Because like if you watch a movie, it's not that great. You might as well finish it. Unless it's, like, insulting to the point it's, like, upsetting you. Like, it's, like, an upsetting, like, you guys know I don't like horror movies. So that's different. But, like, if it's just, like, not the best movie, you usually thug it out. I've started movies and been like, this isn't that great, and I've turned it off. Kind of like Payback with Mel Gibson. It wasn't really for me. But it's very rare that I'm like, and the only reason I did that is because I was in a hotel. And I was, like, trying to watch something before we went and did something in the morning. And I was like... okay, I gotta leave anyways. I'm like, I don't even feel like I need to finish that. So there was another movie like that I started. I didn't finish it because it wasn't. Oh, it was that Found a Youth movie because that was terrible. Oh my gosh, it's awful. Yeah. So it's very rare though that I do that. But when it comes to TV and books, because it's more of a commitment, right? Video games same way. When it's a commitment, the worse it is, the higher chance you're just like, you know what, I'm out. Because, like, you don't want to thug it out. Like, it's not fun, right? Because it's more commitment. So, I liked Rule of 4. I really did. It was good. My only problem with it is it's very weird to read something that's just pretty good. Because when it comes to books, I pretty much only end up reading stuff I really like. Because I'm pretty selective, right? Like, I've read some Elmore Leonard stuff that's pretty good, but I still like it a lot. It's Elmore, you know what I mean? I always like that type of stuff. The comic books I read, I know the type of stuff I'm going to like, right? I take some chances on some stuff. If I end up reading something I don't really like, you can usually thug it out because comic books are, like, pretty short. But it's very rare that I read, like, a full book that's, like, 300-plus pages I don't really like. Like, if I start reading a book and I really don't like it, I'm probably out, right? So it's hard to get yourself to want to read something you don't really like. Like, I did it with Wheel of Time Book 1. Because I liked the idea of Wheel of Time. I thought it was cool to read like a fantasy book like that. And I still, part of me wants to go back to it. When you're actually sitting there reading it. Oh my gosh, it's so slow. It was so slow. And I know you're like, well, go back to your comic books, bro. We read real books in here. You can't handle it. It's too slow. Yeah, it actually was too slow. And I love The Stand. The Stand is awesome. The Stand, not slow. Stand's gas. The Stand is longer than Wheel of Time. Wheel of Time felt like it took all my time because it was so slow and it was a slog. And I did it. And a part of me is like, I just really wanted to like it because I think it's a cool fantasy idea. But the story, the way it's delivered, oh my gosh, it's just, and I understand not everybody's Elmore Leonard. Elmore Leonard's a master of making books feel like that. He's literally talked about it before, the way he would write things to make sure they felt quick. And not everything's that, and that's fine, but it is very rare that I slog through something. What I'm trying to say is the Rule of 4 was not a slog. I liked it. But what was weird about it is that imagine if you, for those of you who haven't read it, it's like these college kids that kind of uncover this hidden treasure, right? But imagine if National Treasure ended after the first 20 minutes. Because that is the Rule of 4. And what I mean by that is we set up these characters, we do this college setting, probably about 100 pages in, you get like the inciting incident. Right? There's somebody murdered on this campus related to the treasure. We then do about 150 pages of kind of more character stuff with a couple moments of plot involving the treasure and like researching it. Then in the last 100, things hit the climax, which is like, oh, the treasure's real. And like the bad guy shows up and is like, this is kind of spoilers for what it's worth, so I'm just warning you if you guys want to read this book from like 2004. But the bad guy shows up, and they kind of get in a fight over the treasure. And then that's it. Like, we never go get the treasure. It's like Raiders of the Lost Ark. You start when he's at the college, and you end after he's done talking to Brody about the mission. That's essentially what it was. And I liked it, but I was like, I thought I was getting a full meal, and we just had salads. And I love Olive Garden salad. It's my favorite salad. It's incredible. Those cold plates really do it for me. You know what? Keep churning this cheese. I'm not going to tell you to stop. Like that Geico commercial they did where they didn't tell him to stop. Remember that? I remember that. They're never going to top Scoop. There it is. It's the top. But the Rule of 4 was like that, where I was like, this is good. I really enjoyed this. But it just kind of ended. And I go back to one of the best book endings of all time, Get Shorty from Elmore Leonard, one of my favorites by him, where the main character, I can't remember the name of all of a sudden, but he's basically like, I picture him like John Travolta. They're driving, he's talking about a screenplay. And they asked him how the ending's coming along. He goes, well, that's the thing with endings, they're hard to write. And then the book ends. Hilarious. And endings are hard to write. You want everything to be tied up all perfectly and nicely. And that's hard to do sometimes. And clearly, that's how Rule 4 kind of was. It had a nice epilogue. I enjoyed it. But it felt like when I went in expecting a treasure, like it's like a college treasure thing, like they said it was inspired by Da Vinci Code. I haven't read Da Vinci Code. I have Angels and Demons right there, the first one in that book series, because Da Vinci Code's the second one. I'm willing to bet we go, like once they find out about the treasure, they go hunt for the treasure. I wouldn't bet it doesn't just end. Like they're like, oh, the treasure's real. This research we've been doing, it led us to this. And then it just ends. Like, what? It'd be like they're like, yo, there is the Chamber of Secrets. We found it. Holy shit. It's real. The basilisk is down there. And then the book ended. What? I was reading on the plane and I was like, all right, because I love reading on flights. It's like best time to read a book. There's like 40 pages left. They're clearly not going to go get the treasure. Like, there's no way in hell. Now, was it a fun college romp? Yeah, I mean, we essentially did like a fun college book with like treasure hunting in the background. And I thought we were doing treasure hunting with college life in the background. It's fine. My expectation just wasn't what reality was. It was good, but that's why it wasn't elite. Thought I'd like it a lot more than I did, because I was really enjoying it early on, because I thought this is what we were building to. But then we never really built upon that. We just kind of kept doing that. And I was like, okay. So I then started In Cold Blood from Truman Capote. It is probably one of the best things I've ever read, but I also kind of hate it, because I am not a true crime guy. It kind of fills me with guilt. It makes me feel bad that those people died, or whatever happened to them happened. Not a huge fan of it. True crime's not for me. And this is obviously true crime. right? It's a real nonfiction telling of a true thing that happened. It is so expertly written. It is so engaging, and it is so interesting the way the story is told. Truman Capote absolutely kills it. Pun not intended, but it ended up being one. It's excellent. If it was even a slight bit worse, I would not read it. But it is written so well that I can't put it down. It's a real page turner. You know what I mean? Like put me on the board. Real page turner. I'm sure In Cold Blood doesn't need more accolades, but there's mine. It's a real page turner. But it is. It's like the most. It's like the best food you've ever tasted, but the texture is awful. Right? Like that's kind of how I would. It's not even that. It's more like the reverse, right? Like the texture's incredible, but I kind of hate the taste. That's more accurate, right? Because to me, the texture being awful would be like it's the most incredible story, but it's written so poorly that it's like hard to get through, right? And I think it actually shows what's technically more important to me. Like enjoying the content may not be as important as the execution, which is interesting, right? And I actually think you see that in film also. I've said before, and I'll say it again, people can be tricked into thinking a movie is good because it looks good, because film is a visual medium, right? It's kind of like a song that the lyrics suck, but the beat is good, is always better than when the beat is bad, but the lyrics are good. Same type of thing. If a movie, like there's some, like Amazing Spider-Man, people praise that movie because it looks good. It's bad. Like it is bad. There's no doubt in my mind, right? And people can be tricked into thinking it's good because it looks good. So I guess reading, similarly, is like if something is written really well, kind of makes up for the fact that the story is something I don't really like. Not that the story's bad in Cold Blood. It's expertly written. I just kind of hate it. It makes me uncomfortable. I don't really like reading things that make me uncomfortable. I don't like watching stuff. I'm not into that. But it's so excellent. I just keep reading. So it's very good. It's very good. So it's real page turner. If you are into true crime, if you want to, you'll like it. It's very good. Very good stuff. Okay. Next up, television. I watched Reacher Season 1. Reacher Season 1 shouldn't be good. Reacher in general should suck. Because it is a protagonist in which he is better than everyone at everything. He walks in a room, he's always the smartest guy. He always has the funniest jokes. He's always stronger than everyone he fights. He's always sexier than anybody else in the show. Like if he wants someone in the show to make love to, they will gladly have him. Everyone's attracted to him. It really shouldn't work. And yet it does. And it doesn't feel hokey. I thought I was getting myself into like kind of a hokey, like over dramatic, kind of like a Taylor Sheridan, right? And it's not that. It's like somebody said, "Do you like True Detective with a slice of superhero heroics?" And I said, "Yes, more please," because that is what it is, and it is awesome. And if you don't watch Reacher, and these things sound interesting to you, you should watch it. I also love Alan Ritchson, huge fan. It's a shame he's not going to be Batman, but he should be a major superhero role because we need to save him from those fake Amazon Prime movies. Those, like, who watches those? Like, I ask of you. There are so many, because my roommate has Amazon Prime with ads, so I've been seeing the ads. Who watches some of these shows? Who's watching Cross? Are you watching Cross on Amazon Prime? The new season premiered. I don't know anyone who watches it. Amazon has so much money, and Prime is a successful platform, so they just put shit on it. And some of these movies, like Ricky Stenicki, felt like a real movie. I think people watch that. But the one with Alan Ritchson, who the hell is watching this? Who? Like that Jackie Chan, John Cena movie on Netflix. I think I might watch it at some point. I don't know a soul who's ever tuned into that. Right? Like, who is watching some of these things? But Amazon Prime is the absolute queen of it. Like, there's no doubt in my mind, Amazon Prime has the most, like, who the hell's watching that stuff? So, there is a show on there that I see a trailer for with Kaylee Kuko, I think it's how you pronounce it, the woman from Big Bang Theory. She plays Penny. It's called Vanished. It looks absolutely awful. Who is watching these shows? Who? Who? I beg of you, who? People always talk about, like, who's watching network television sitcoms middle afternoon? We know who's watching the network television. Like, we know who that audience is. We know who's watching Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage. Like, let's not be dumb. We know it's, like, older people, people in more rural communities. Like, who is on Amazon Prime watching the Alan Ritchson action movie that looks bad? Who? We need to save him from these. He's better than this. But anyways, I'm sure the paycheck's great for him, so shout out him. But back to Reacher. Reacher's great. Finished season 1. I loved it. It's got a lot of True Detective season 1 vibes. Is it as good as True Detective season 1? No. But what is? So, then there's that. But, had a heart-to-heart the other day over Interstellar. I went through a long period of that. I think every single Christopher Nolan movie I've ever watched, at some point, I watched it, I thought it was incredible. And then I thought it was overrated. And then I came back and realized it's still incredible. I think I've done that with every single Christopher Nolan movie. Except Inception. I just decided I don't really like it that much. And I used to love it. But it's too upsetting when his wife dies. I can't take it. So I don't like that one now. Dunkirk is the only one I've never felt like was overrated. I just consistently think that Dunkirk is underrated. I don't know about The Prestige. I haven't seen it. Maybe it's overrated. Or Memento. It's one of the few I haven't seen. But Dark Knight went through a period. Now I'm like, I think Dark Knight's still... I think Dark Knight's probably properly rated anymore. I think it is. But Interstellar, for a while, I felt like it was overrated. I was on the flight. A friend of mine was watching it. I'm sitting there looking over his shoulder while I'm reading. I look up, kind of catching scenes of Interstellar, and I'm like, people might be right. Might be Nolan's best movie. Like, might be. Might have to accept it. Probably that or Oppenheimer. So, see, Oppenheimer's doing the reverse trajectory. It might be becoming underrated because it was so big, right? It's underrated. And then in like 10 years, people are going to be like, it's his best one. Watch it. Odyssey's going to come out, be huge. There's going to be this wave of people that don't like it. And then in like 2035, people are going to be like, Odyssey, it's the best movie. It's because he makes such rich texts. Everybody like gets caught up in it. It's wild. So, like, other directors aren't really like that. Like, it's pretty consistent what's considered like good Quentin Tarantino, right? It's pretty consistent what's considered like the best Spielberg, the best Villeneuve, the best Fincher. But like with Nolan, it's like every 3 to 4 years we have to reset what's good by him, which is interesting. All right, so I really enjoyed Reacher season 1, and I was going to fire up Reacher season 2, but there was a show that I was a bit curious about. And that show has been quite popular as of late. A nice, short, crisp, like 33, 34-minute episodes. It's only 6 episodes long, which is a shame. And if you haven't pieced together now, it is the show A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which I had heard described as The Mandalorian for Game of Thrones. Now, I have never watched Game of Thrones. I think it's a bit of a tough sell for younger people because we all remember when people hated it because the ending was bad. So it's like, why would I watch it if the ending's bad? Which I think why Lost has suffered. Lost has low-key been lost in pop culture because like people don't really watch Lost now because they just know that it's like got a controversial ending. So they're like, oh, I'm just not going to watch it. Like in Stranger Things, the controversial ending might end up being fine for it because it's not like universally hated. Like people act like it is. It's not. Online it might be. But like Stranger Things is going to live on because people will talk about the controversial ending, kind of like Sopranos, right? But the Sopranos ending was controversial because it was shocking. Stranger Things was controversial because it was like way too safe. But anyways, regardless, I'm saying I think it'll live on. Like not everything's Breaking Bad. Everybody loves Breaking Bad, right? But Game of Thrones and like Lost, like notoriously, like Game of Thrones especially is like just super disliked ending. So it's like, I think it's a bit of a tough sell for people. And I looked it up today. I was curious. Do people watch House of the Dragon? I don't know a soul who watches House of the Dragon. I'm willing to bet House of the Dragon is 90% people who watch Game of Thrones. A Night of the Seven Kingdoms I had no interest in watching. I remember hearing about it coming out. Couldn't care less. And then I just kept hearing how good it was. And how it's better than House of the Dragon. And how it's, the best thing Game of Thrones has put out since the later, like, the middle seasons of Game of Thrones. And I was like, you know what? It kind of sounds interesting if it's literally Mandalorian. Like, I like when it's a smaller story character, smaller story, like, in the world. It's Like, Mandalorian works for me. That type of thing works for me on so many levels. Give me a smaller story with a character in an established world, and it gives us a whole new perspective than, like, the grand epic. I think it's one of the best things Star Wars has ever done. Mandalorian is one of my favorite Star Wars things, period. If Mandalorian is a Star Wars movie, it would be one of my favorites. It'd probably be top 3 for me. If you're like, Ryan, there is a Mandalorian movie coming out, I find it hard to believe that movie's going to be as good as the first season of Mandalorian, but if the first season of Mandalorian was a Star Wars movie, it's probably like Empire Strikes Back, New Hope, and maybe that. Love Mandalorian Season 1. What are your thoughts on Season 2 and Season 3? I haven't watched them. You guys know I'm not the best with TV. Still haven't watched Invincible Season 3. I got to catch up. Season 4 is coming out soon. But anyways. So I watched the first episode of Night of Seven Kingdoms literally today, like this afternoon. Filmed this at night. I liked it. I didn't love it. It's a bit odd because it's funny. And not funny the way Mandalorian's funny. It does like Family Guy cutaway gags. And you might be thinking I'm joking. I'm not. Oh my gosh, wait. Oh my gosh, wait. We get Ted Season 2 this year. Oh my gosh, when does that come out? March 5th? Oh, that's soon. Man, the Ted show was so excellent. It was so good. It was absurdly good. Only 8 episodes, though, is crap. We need more. That show was so good. You want to talk about a show I had no interest in watching? That looks stupid. And I was like, I started seeing clips online of it, hearing it's funny. Watched a YouTube video of a guy being like, Ted show's good. It's really good. And I was like, okay. Never watched the Ted movies in my life. Fired up show. It's good. It's legit good. So, okay. But back to Night of Seven Kingdoms. It just works. I've never watched Game of Thrones in my life. I have only the vaguest understanding of the world, and it's good. I enjoyed it. Am I going to watch all of it? I don't know. I think I'll know probably after episode 2 or 3, but they're short. So I was like, I mean, I could probably blast through the whole thing this evening, and the finale's coming out. I mean, I have 4 episodes, and then the finale's coming out next Sunday, and they're all 30 minutes. It's like, realistically, that's 2 hours. It's like watching a movie. So I don't really love that for fans of the show. That kind of sucks. If you're going to do 6 episodes and they're all 30-ish minutes, it's kind of crap. Whatever. But I liked it, so it's fun. I enjoy Night of Seven Kingdoms. Like I said, I don't know if I watch all of it. We'll see. It's good, though. Don't know if it's excellent. It's fun. Some of the jokes don't work for me. Like, it just doesn't. So I've also never watched Game of Thrones. Like, this is the first Game of Thrones I ever watched. So maybe the tone is not used to it. I feel like it's like needlessly adult sometimes. Like he's like in the water rinsing off. Like we see his butt, and I'm like, that's fine. I don't care. I just think it's funny. It's like, ooh, we're on HBO, baby. It's like, okay, I know Game of Thrones is known for the nudity. Okay, you didn't have to just throw it out there. I understand. You know what I'm saying? Like, how much does the Mi-Sun Sen really benefit from his ass? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Whatever. It's pretty fun, though. I don't know if it's awesome. It's we'll see. Fantasy is just fun. All right? It's fantasy and sci-fi. There's a reason. They've always been fun. Because it's fun. Sci-fi, I think, has a problem sometimes of feeling samey. Fantasy does, too. I think there's just, in general, more good fantasy than there is good sci-fi. So I think sometimes with sci-fi, you could just get really lore-heavy and, like, really just do, like, crazy shit. Whereas with fantasy, you're kind of more grounded in reality. And you might be like, well, there's magic and stuff. Okay. But, like, in sci-fi, if you want, I'm talking big space sci-fi. I'm not talking, like, Back to the Future or Terminator with more grounded stuff. And you're like, Terminator, that's time travel. It is. Both those things I named are time travel. I understand that. But, like, when you do, like, like, Hyperion, it's great. Really good. But, like, when you're doing, like, full Android AI people and teleportation and blah, 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 like, we're way over here. And you're like, oh, well, fantasy can have full teleportation and fantasy can have monsters and stuff. It just always feels more grounded in reality. Like, you're on one planet the whole time. It's always, like, vaguely European, too. So it's like, I don't know. I just think, I don't know. In general, I used to be a more sci-fi or fantasy guy. As I've gotten older, I might be more fantasy. I don't know. Swords are just more fun than guns. right? Like I think in general, we made a mistake. We went for efficiency over coolness. Like, could you imagine if police walked around with swords? I don't know if they just became less or more dangerous. I just realized this now. I don't know. My point is, if you were like, yo, bro, I went and got a sword, everyone's like, cool. Now, it's probably a waste of money, but cool. But imagine if there were no guns and everybody had swords. Duel rate goes up. Murder rate goes down. It's guaranteed fact. Imagine like gang warfare, but everybody's got like swords. You know how cool that'd be? You're like, oh no, I was living in a really rough part of town. Like you just in the night, you hear like king, 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 like the swords. It'd be awesome. We really missed out. You know, it's all right. Maybe I'll make a video about this. We messed up. I don't know. We'll see. It's kind of a funny idea though. Gang warfare with swords. I mean, it's literally like old timey battles. You know what I mean? Like it used to be like, the Brown clan has a beef to squabble with you, the Monser clan. And it's like, all right, we'll send our 2 finest soldiers to come battle to the death. And then he's like, I can't kill you, it's dishonorable. He's like, it's more dishonorable to be left alive. And then he beheads him, and everybody's like, yeah! I guess the violence is still very real because there's beheadings. I guess that's bad. I will say, that's rough, you know. Stabbing is a very violent thing, you know. So I guess it's rough. But in general, you know, space lasers are fun, but swords are cool. I mean, that's why Star Wars is good, because they just did space fantasy. They figured it out. Like, George Lucas was like, wait a minute, swords are way cooler than guns, so let's just make space swords. He's a genius for that. So, that's the problem with Star Trek. They never got that right. They stuck with they stuck to their guns, literally. It's just not as cool. Just true fact. Not as cool. So that's what's fun about Night of Seven Kingdoms. I enjoy it. I don't know. I know Dunk is supposed to be 6'11". He doesn't look 6'11". There's no way the actor's 6'11", because if he was 6'11", he wouldn't be acting. He would be at All-Star Weekend playing. Not in the Celebrity. No, he'd be on the team, because like that dude would. There's no way the act. Let's just look up his height, right? Come on. I did not realize how many Game of Thrones spin-off books existed, though. Looked into that today. I was looking into George R.R. Martin's like bibliography. It's like, good night. He's got a ton of books. Like, I didn't know he wrote that many spin-offs. He really committed, but he didn't write the 6th or 7th. Oh, he's 6'5". Oh, he's a former Ultimate Rugby player? Is he? What? He's got a very thick accent. I don't like watching stuff with captions on. I had to turn it on for A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Oh, this is like the first big thing he's ever done. He started acting in 2022. He was in Crash Scene Investigates, a TV series that there's basically no info. 4-part series exploring real-life stories of crashes in Ireland, the circumstances that led to them, and long-term repercussions they caused. Interesting. It's like a little documentary. Huh. Cool. Yeah, he's only been in 9 things ever, and he's the star of the #1 show on HBO. Shout out this guy. Credit to Peter Cloughy. Cloughy? It's Irish, probably Cloughy, right? 6'5". Not the same as 6'11", but he's 6'5". Interesting. Cool. Yeah, it's a fun show. He's got like very thick Irish accent. I don't know if it's Irish. I don't know what exactly it is. I'm really bad at guessing accents. I'm really bad at that. Boston's one of the only ones I can recognize. All right, last thing. I started playing Baldur's Gate 3. I know I'm like 2.5 years late to the party. It's not breaking news, but it's awesome. It's excellent. It's just video game D&D, and it's really good. It's really good. I haven't been this into a like game that's not a sports game since Dragon Age Inquisition. And you might go, oh my gosh, Ryan, Dragon Age Inquisition came out in 2014. Well, I played it last spring, so it's been about a year for me. But it's really good, and it's a shock to no one. I heard nothing but great things. I remember when it came out, I was like, I will never play a game like that. And then I played all the Dragon Age games, and I thought, Baldur's Gate 3 is what's next. And I like it even more than I thought I would. I absolutely love it, and I'm at the part where I'm on like a boat, like the Moonrise. Like I'm with the cults, the absolutes. I got to free this guy near, but I don't think I'm gonna. He sounds evil, so I don't think I'm gonna do that. But my guy is a paladin named Zacchaeus. He is a dragonborn, so and I'm going for the Shadowheart romance. So that's the plan. I played Dispatch before this, and Dispatch was awesome. Dispatch was like watching a really good superhero TV show that you got to obviously control, and it was good, and all the voice acting was great, and it was hilarious, and I'm like, that's Charlie. And then my roommate recognized that it was also Jacksepticeye, so that was funny. So, all right, I think that's it. We hit 2 hours. Wow. Now, Baldur's Gate 3 is great. If you want to play it, you should, and if you already have, you know it's good. I accidentally did start the evil run, though. The Dark Oath, or whatever it's called. The Dark Urge. I thought that was just the way to do a customizable character, and so I clicked it and I started it. My roommate was like, did you mean to do the evil run? And I was like, oh, no, I did not. And so then I had to remake an entire character. So originally, his name was Marameus, and he was like a cool-looking dwarf. Sorry, a cool-looking hobbit, like a halfling. And he had like a scar and everything. I thought it was funny to make like a cool like hobbit. And then when I had to redo it, I was like, I don't feel like doing the exact same thing again, even though I only did it an hour ago. So I decided to change it up and went for like cool dragon war. I just play him like the Mandalorian. Part of the reason Mandalorian works for me is because my favorite character to be in like anything is like the cowboy no nonsense guy who does the right thing but doesn't brag about it. That's always my favorite. Like it's always works for me. I like that in everything. And that's basically every Elmore Leonard protagonist. Like most of them, right? Not in Maximum Bob, which is funny because Maximum Bob, one of my favorites by him, very different than a lot of his other works, but Maximum Bob's great. But like that is Raylan Givens, right? That is the Mandalorian. That is somewhat Han Solo. He's got a little more cockiness to him, but I like the cockiness, don't get me wrong. Indiana Jones is also a little more like, I guess, personality, but I love like the Mandalorian type is always the type of character I'm very drawn to. The like, he's got some flaws maybe, but the very no nonsense warrior cowboy does the right thing, but you know will also like go smoke a cigarette and be quiet type that guy. That's always works for me. That and then like the wisecracking cowboy, which is John McClane and Han Solo. Those are like the two that always work for me. Those are my guys. All right, I think that's it. Pretty much every character I've ever played in a fantasy game is usually one of those two. Like in Dragon Age, remember my Grey Warden and then my Hawk were both like the wisecracking cool guys. And then I will say for Inquisition, I mixed it up a little bit. I went for like a more like soft-spoken. But I love the no-nonsense. Like the Mandalorian is like basically my ideal character to be in anything. So, all right. Okay, that's it. Dunk is not pure Mandalorian though. He's got a little more personality. He's a little less no-nonsense. He's more like goofy dope, but he's nice. So maybe I'd like it more if he was more no-nonsense, but I don't think it's really the point. I think it's supposed to be kind of funny, which is why the cutaway gags are a little weird, though, you know? That's my thing, the cutaway gags, you know, for Late Night with Ryan. Speaking of, I got to do that in like 2 hours. I got to get going. I got to go eat dinner, and I got to get on Late Night with Ryan. I got to get ready for the show. So I think that's it for me. This went really long, but that's good. A lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff being said. All right. That is it. I hope you enjoyed the Sword Sports Podcast. I think this was episode 194. So, yeah. All right. I appreciate it. Talked about a lot. See you all later.